Millington, absent. Jane Rosenbaum, absent. Guillermo Gomez, absent. Gerald Trueheart.
Quiet, please.
Gerald Trueheart is present.
Lucy Vandenberg. Jason Red.
Present.
We do not have a quorum. Absent. Denise Millington, absent. Jane Rosenbaum. Jane Rosenbaum. Guillermo Gomez.
Here.
Gerald Trueheart.
Present.
Lucy Vandenberg.
Here.
Jason Red. We have a quorum.
The New Jersey Public Meetings Law is enacted to ensure the rights of the public to have advance notice to, of, and attend the public meetings of public bodies. Please keep your voice down so we can move through and get to public comment. On the rules of this act, the Trenton Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting by publicizing the date, time, and place. Therefore, posted in the Central Services Building, 108 North Clinton Avenue, City Clerk's Office, City Hall, and the Times. Anyone whose name is on the mailing list should receive a notice. A motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Would the agenda be adopted with the resolutions to apply for a grant for $95,000, also the request for prospective executive search firm for selection superintendent, and the acceptance of donations in the amount of $1,200. Roll call.
D.A. Graham.
Yes.
Sophia Gussit, absent. Denise Millington, absent. Jane Rosenbaum. Guillermo Gomez.
Yes.
Gerald Trueheart.
Yes.
Lucy Vandenberg.
Yes.
Jason Red. Motion passed.
I'm going to start here. We have a robust list of speakers, so I'm going to hold you to your time. Once the time goes off, I'm going to shut down the mic because we have over 100 speakers and we need to get through everybody, so everybody has a chance to hear. The first one on the agenda is Assemblyman Reed Gustiora. That's going to count towards the time, everybody, so we need to just be conservative. 3 minutes.
I'll be very brief, and thank you very much, Mr. Red and Ms. Faria. I know you guys have a tough job, and as a resident of the city of Trenton, I take with pride that we're going to have a new high school in a couple of years. I hope it's named after our president. But we seem to take a couple steps forward and then many steps back. And I do blame the governor on this, who's been an absentee landlord and has not really reinvested in the city of Trenton.
Excuse me, Assemblyman, we need to keep it down. This room is packed here, and we have people in an overflow room downstairs. So in order to be respectful and allow the Assemblyman to be heard, can you...
I know you're doing a tough job, and you make no decisions lightly, but I'm especially concerned with the special needs students, that they need their aides that help them. And they're at such a critical juncture in their lives to have such massive cuts and layoffs of staff is not going to do them or anyone in the community. So I know you're doing a tough job, and I hope we can all work together, and I'm going to do every part that I can to get money from the state, which is well deserved for this capital city, but I hope we can hold our own and keep the staff cuts to the minimum. But thanks so much. I look forward to working with you.
Senator Shirley Turner.
Okay.
Councilman Alex Bethea. Pastor Justice.
Let me say, first of all, good afternoon, and to the board and to the interim superintendent. Let me say, in concurrence with Senator Reed Gustiora, I trust that the board comprehensively and totally will do everything that it can to make sure that, especially those, and you've heard this time and time again, that are most vulnerable, especially those who receiving assistance because of their various challenges. I'm talking for something that I know of as a pastor of a church here in Clinton. I have about 13 young people in college as we speak, and 5 of them who attended Trenton Public Schools are now in college, and those 5 were students who had IEPs. And so this is not something I've heard, this is something I know because I'm a pastor. And they are now, one of them, believe it or not, is about ready to publish a book. And a couple of others is just graduated from Philadelphia Arts and Design School and is working in that capacity. Now, what I'm saying is they were able to make it because of the attention that were given them, because of the continuity of services by virtue of those teachers, those paraprofessionals and others in the classroom who did not simply teach the 3 R's, if you will, but they were mothers to them. And they took in consideration all of their problems outside of academics. And yes, it wasn't all perfect because in some instances they had reason because of some of the things that were going on. They had reason really to sue the school board. Because the school board, as I understand it, and I'm professionally trained as a teacher, as I understand it, are supposed to be the watchdog, not the people. Regardless of who the superintendent may be. Because the superintendent, again, should not determine, again, the direction of any school system. It's the school board. Which means that whether Donald Duck comes or Susan Salafi comes, because, again, the school board has the students at heart, again, they can come and go. Everything is still in order. Have a tough job. Because guess what? Without them, a whole lot of things. And I wish that you all would wrap up some stuff too.
Miss Betty Black. Ms. Glenn, you have 15 minutes.
I have other people signed up for me.
15 minutes is the cap.
Okay. Good evening. I am Betty Glenn, and I am the president of the Trenton Paraprofessionals Association. I can't believe I am standing here again. I can't believe that you haven't learned from your past mistakes. I can't believe that you think it's a good idea to put 92 taxpayers, 92 Trenton paraprofessionals who work in our schools and most vulnerable children out on the streets. I can't believe that you don't seem to remember what happened the last time you pulled this stunt. When you privatized 101s, it was disastrous results. The bill to the district quadrupled to $1 million. Even worse, our children did not get the services that they needed, the services that the law requires. We know that our school district is facing difficult times, just like we are. But you can't put a price on the safety and well-being of our students. These children are our future, and no one benefits when you fire Trenton taxpayers from your jobs and replace them with people who have no ties or commitments to this community or to these children. Now, to your childhood. Back in the day, and when a family could get by on one income, it wasn't always easy, but we were far from well off, but we were rich with love. We had people in our communities and homes and neighborhoods to look after us and make sure we were safe and well behaved, even if our parents did work. Today's children don't always have that. You need 2 incomes to support a family in today's world, and many of our students live in a single-parent home. Our communities are not as tight as they were, so our schools have stepped up to fill that need for our children. Our schools are a refuge for our students and the people working and their families. Trenton paraprofessionals are not just school employees. They are trusted members of the school family who help children learn and give them the love and support they need to be successful in school and life. So in this time of struggle, when students need us more than ever before, why do you want to fire the people who love and care for them with their whole hearts and souls? Why do you want to entrust Trenton children to a profit-driven company with no ties to our community? Why do you want to bring strangers into our schools? Why do you want to take these jobs from people who pay taxes that support the school district budget? We dedicate our careers and lives to the children of Trenton. We make sure they come to school ready to learn and keep safe and be safe in school. After school, we still watch out for them because we live here. We may be low paid, but we are high in value. So come see what we do. I'm extending an open invitation. Spend the day in the Trenton paraprofessional shoes. We are committed to the children of this school district. We are committed to the city. Don't let this disastrous result of privatization be repeated. You can't put a price on the well-being of our students. Don't fire Trenton taxpayers from their jobs and replace them with people who have no ties at all to this community or to our children. Move the money in that budget and put 92 paraprofessionals back to work. I want to say to you that these are parents here with these pictures, that you want to close a school that's being successful. That school, those parents love that school. When you first thought of the idea, I told you, I said, it's not a good idea. I don't think that they'll like that. They want that school. If you can see the pictures here that tell you the results of what our babies are enjoying and being a part of this community, we're asking you, don't close this school. Keep this school open. We need this school. You saw from Grant School the performance of those children. And it seems like every time a school is being successful, we close it down. Their job today. I want you to sit back and think. A lot of you don't have children in this district. But you gotta start thinking that these are your children. You got to start thinking like a parent and not like a board member. We can't be board members on certain things. And these are our children. You must. It is your job. It is your duty. Fight for these kids.
Ms. Tunstall.
Ms. Tunstall wasn't able to be here, but I'm standing in her stead.
What is your name?
My name is Jocelyn Johnson. I'm the grievance chair for the paraprofessionals. And I'm also a taxpayer. I live here in the city, and I also am a product of the Trenton school system. As board members, you voted to close Stokes Elementary, Stokes Early Childhood Learning Center. I would like to share with you a message that is on the front page of our website, www.trentonparis.org. Stokes Early Childhood Learning Center is a successful, well-equipped facility. Investing in early childhood education reaps great rewards. A study by economist James Hackman shows that investing in early childhood education for at-risk youth is one of the most effective strategies for economic growth. High-quality preschool helps reduce medial education, health, and criminal justice system expenditures. It is estimated that for every $1 spent on preschool, a city reaps $7 in savings. Tonight we have these posters to demonstrate and show what a beautiful and vibrant learning atmosphere exists at Stokes Early Childhood Learning Center. We ask you to move the money in the budget and keep Stokes open. Don't sell the buildings to another charter school company. Keep Stokes open for Trenton families. Thank you.
Candy Strickland. Lorenzo Gonzalez.
Good evening. Hello, my name is Tammy Strickland. I am a parent of an autistic child. It has been my choice to send my child to this district thus far. I have been confident in my child's teacher and paraprofessional. He has been in an autistic program for 2 years. He has made great strides. My question to you: how does the board intend to comply with my child's IEP? You are outsourcing jobs that affect my child directly. My child requires a paraprofessional and speech and occupational therapy. Extended learning throughout the summer. Example, my son required a paraprofessional for the summer, and we know that outsourced programs don't hire for the summer. So it was his classroom para who stepped in for the summertime to work with my child. So how vested are you in our students? How would you as a parent feel knowing that your school district is willing to deny our students the right to access a free, efficient, thorough education? You are denying our students that basic right to receive an adequate education by removing instructional staff. Are these paraprofessionals from these outside companies highly qualified? On day one, to provide instructional support for our special needs students? My answer to you is no. I have seen it firsthand. How invested are these privatized companies when there's little pay for them? You pay what you get, pay for what you get. Tell me, how do you feel about the New Jersey Administrative Code for Special Education, the NJAC 6A14? It's a federal act, and the laws that ensure children with disabilities a free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. Part of these laws provides parents, let me say that again, it provides parents the right to participate in their children's education. So today, I am exercising my rights as an employee, surprise, of education. I have served this district for 17 years. Now, what do you say about that? How many of you have served in the education field and walked the hallways of the Trenton Public School System? And tell him his education is not valuable? Can he sleep at night knowing that his education is not worth it? Would you do it with your children, your aunt, or your grandchildren? I say to this, don't balance the budget on our children's back or at the expense of our children.
Lorenzo Gonzalez. Pastor Broach. Kareem Warren. If they come up, I'll give them a chance to speak. James Barnes. Brenda Manning Reed. Ann Sharada. No. You have 5 minutes, Ann.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Superintendent and members of the board. My name is Ann Scarata. I was born, raised, and educated in the Trenton Public Schools. I'm a graduate of Trenton Central High School. I worked for the Trenton District for 46 years as a secretary until I retired in 2013. Because my relationship with the Trenton School District started before many of you were born, I had personally experienced the highs and the lows of this district. However, within the last year, the actions of this board have taken the district to a new level. It is as if you are intentionally creating opportunities to make us fail. And with each downward move, you steal another piece of hope from the children of Trenton. In 2009, you riffed 14 special education secretaries. The result of that board decision was the files for our special needs students were in disarray, lying around in various buildings. You then decided to move all of those files into central office. We know they arrived incomplete and in no logical order. Don't deny it, because I, as the vice president of TESA, took pictures when they arrived. In fact, you are still working on those files as of last fall of 2015, which happens to be 6 years later. This board is the legal caretaker of the student files. Not only did you jeopardize services to these students, your decision ultimately impacted federal funding for special needs students. After litigation filed by TEA and TESA, 7 of those secretaries were returned. But you didn't learn. Next, you ripped senior secretaries in the schools. These secretaries register students. Remember, your state funding should be dependent upon student enrollment. You moved registration into central office, and that was a disaster. Then you brought the senior secretaries back, and registration was once again in the schools. Now, you have eliminated 22 secretaries, bringing the number of secretaries in most of the schools to 1. Once again, you have jeopardized accurate funding for the schools. But let's face it, you don't really care. We have had flat funding for years, and what have you done to get these children more money from the state or from the city? I have experienced many difficult times in our history, but never before have I experienced a board that does not fight to save our public schools. I wish I could say it was not deliberate, but no one in this audience would believe me. Every move you made in this budget results in a loss of funding. You will lose more than keeping the secretaries will cost you. You will lose more than keeping the attendance officers will cost you. The outsourcing of paraprofessionals last time was a disaster. You just don't care. So you decide to harm even more of our Trenton children by outsourcing paraprofessionals again. It is your job to protect them, not prevent them from having a teacher. As you lose another student, and another student, and another student, it is because you failed to fight for them. You bemoan the law.
Please wrap up. She has 5 minutes. She only has one on this sheet.
The other lady had
There's
15.
only one on the sheet I received, so please wrap up.
I'll give up mine.
You bemoan the loss of revenue to charter schools, but you do not launch a public relations program to educate our parents. In fact, Mr. Red, don't you lobby for New Jersey public school options? We are not Camden, and we are not Philadelphia. None of us sitting on this side aspire to become any of those districts. But you, sitting up there, hire from Philadelphia as if the administrators from a failed system superintendent, an individual who left under a dark cloud from Massachusetts, and then was basically kicked out of Minneapolis. Your candidate had a blemished record in Patterson and was kicked out of Albany, New York. Not to mention a graduate of the Broad Academy, trained in anti-labor laws and anti-union. That is what you think the children of Trenton deserve? They deserve better. If you do not think we deserve better, that there is still hope for this district, you should not be sitting where you are. Represent the best interest of Trenton parents and children. Do you need a superintendent to break the unions and remove the final obstacles for big business to profit off the backs of these children? Futures destroyed so others can make money. While you keep trying to take us down, everyone over here keeps working to help us survive. Program. Their Pride and FAST programs provide opportunities our students and their parents would never have. The Paraprofessional Association provides additional opportunities through their Pride and FAST programs. Our custodians somehow manage to keep the schools running, even though you have cut their ranks, salaries, and benefits. The unions are doing their parts. You have now taken a direct assault upon the secretaries in this district. Abolishing 22 secretarial positions is part of your budget cuts. This is a deliberate attempt to our bargaining unit. Yes, Mrs. Rosenbaum.
Wake up!
Strange that you are a supporter of this board action, as you and your husband are so actively involved in your union and protecting the rights of your colleagues at Rider University. Members. For years, you have tried to treat our members as a secretarial pool. For years, administrators have blatantly ignored our contract. And for years, we have filed many grievances and won all but maybe a handful. Amazingly, many of these grievances are repeat violations, the same over and over again. And we keep winning over and over again. I guess now you think you have a solution. Abolish the 3 different levels of secretaries and just have one general secretary. First, it is insulting because the different levels indicate a professional promotional level. So you want to just strip the secretaries of that? Guess they are not professionals in your eyes, just interchangeable, invisible workers. It is obvious that you want the secretaries to answer to anyone and everyone. Any administrator can give them an assignment, and I guess they just need to say, how high would you like me to jump? Reminds me of a sweatshop. Just take away all their rights and set them up for failure. I believe history will show. Such working conditions are what created the labor movement and the unions. By the way, the other school districts in Mercer County have secretarial categories. Their administrators have figured out how to do it. The abolishment of 3 categories affects many articles of the TESA collective bargaining agreement. Did you forget that we are working under a collective bargaining agreement? You have already indicated you are ready to violate many of our articles. This association will continue to fight for the rights of our workers. So let me tell you in closing what you have achieved with all of this. You have solidified the unions of this district. The last time I saw this solidarity was when the secretaries went out on strike. We are together, we are one, and we will not let you down.
Mayor Alvarado. You have 6 minutes, Mr. Rado.
Superintendent, board members. My name is Marisol Torado, and I've been a secretary in this district for 26.5 years. We are currently working under a collective bargaining agreement, and your recent actions against our union are insulting to us as professionals and as employees. We have a union to protect us from abusive working conditions. We have bargaining provisions in our contract to give us protection from being used, as is we have no worth as professionals or as people. Your new job descriptions threaten our rights and expose us to working conditions under which we will not be able to succeed. Not to mention that you have just ignored multiple sections of our collective bargaining agreement. You have notified our TESA leadership that 22 members of our bargaining unit will be ripped, unemployed. In recent past, we lost 40 TESA members through a rift, and then you ripped 20 more. In both instances, you learned that the work could not be accomplished and you rehired them. This time, it looks as if you believe you can rip 22 secretaries and change the job description to enable the remaining secretaries to not only do the work we did last year, but also the work of our missing colleagues. And we cannot accomplish that successfully. It is your intent to file tenure charges against us. You create an impossible situation and then we get fired. You need to rethink this because we are not going to go down easily. We never have, and maybe that is part of the problem as well. We actually expect you to live by our contract. We expect you to have your administrators live by our contract. Yeah. We have not succeeded with either expectation. As a result, our union has filed hundreds of grievances. Our TESA president and vice president have been associated with this district and our union longer than any of you have been here. They are very strong advocates and do not budge when it comes to contractual issues. We are stronger today than we were a month ago. And together we will fight for the rights we currently have, and we will not let you take us down. We deserve the working conditions we have fought for. We have protected them before, and we will continue to do so. We deserve to be treated with respect. Thank you.
Estelle Harris. Ms. Harris, you have 6 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Fedia, board members. My name is Estelle Harris, and I've been the secretary in this district for 29 years. I would like to remind you that we are currently working on the collective bargaining agreement. Every secretary in this district knows what they do every day. We know everything that happens, and frankly, Frankly, we want to keep the district moving. Administrators come and go, but secretaries remain. We know how the departments and schools are run. We are the consistency. This is not something confined to our district. Secretaries are the key everywhere. Just know, just how you think registration will be accomplished without personnel. When you cut school secretaries before you created central registration, that was a disaster. So we brought back the senior secretaries and moved registration back into the schools. Now we have again eliminated school secretaries, so how do you think registration is going to be accomplished? You think the remaining secretaries can do her job and the second secretary's job? Basic intelligence should tell you that that's not possible. We understand our principals did not fight for us for the positions to remain. We know the business administrator eliminated a secretary in all the schools and indicated to the principals that they could fight to save our positions. Clearly, none of you thought the position was worth the fight. In some buildings, it was the school leadership team that decided a position was not needed and that a person could lose their employment. None of this has gone unnoticed. By those of us who remain, you send a clear message that we are expendable. You have clearly indicated that you do not respect us as employees or as professionals. You cannot adopt a new job description and expect that we will not react. You have attacked our rights under our union. Perhaps you see us as fractured and weak. But this is treachery. On any given day, alliances can change multiple times. Perhaps you know we will lose an integral break within our union, but you can rid us as once and for all. We are strong today than we were a month ago. All together we fight for the rights we we currently have, and we will not let you take us down. We deserve a working condition we have fought for. We have protected them before and will continue to do so. We deserve to be treated with respect.
Thank you. I'm gonna say 3 words. A bad marriage. That's what my relationship has been like with this district over the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years when it started with my son. And I struggled getting the services I needed for my son, and everybody who's been in this district a long time knows my story. And the reason why SPAG exists is because of what I went through with my son. And I couldn't wait to get here because the last time I spoke before this board, all the key people were not here. But I couldn't wait to get here and tell my story and our story on what this administration tried to do to us. I don't even know how you sleep at night. Those 3 people that were on that email that came out to me, telling me that you were not going to accommodate our programs, guilty, guilty, guilty. Oh, she's not here. Okay? Guilty. Guilty of putting out these babies, and they out here, and the parents are out here. And you left my programs out here. You left my state contract at risk. And this is a service that we provide free to this district. And although the board members tried to reverse it, and you did, you tried to come to my aid, and Mr. Trueheart came out to our program and met our children and walked out of the first classroom in tears because he knows the kind of children that we serve. So although you tried to reverse it, now I'm at a point where I don't even want to stay. Why I don't want to stay? Because now I don't trust you. And when you don't have trust, you don't have a relationship. And I've been collaborating with this district for many, many years, and I have turned my cheek to so many complaints and so many violations. So many. I'm pissed off with myself because I should have just been filing them right to the state. But I didn't. But guess what? You'll never get me like that again. Because thank you, as what you meant for my bad, God meant for my good. That's right. We had numerous people step up and try to help us. The executive director, Steve Cook of Ark of Mercy, has offered the special needs after school program space in the city of Trenton. Our programs and all our operations will be moving into a 3,500 square feet space out in Ewing. So you see, what you did, it was for nothing. And you did it as if your house was clean. I'm sorry, there's still compliance issues. There's still numerous IEPs that have issues. There's still cookie cutter IEPs. There's still kids not getting speech. There's still kids without communication devices. So you did it as if your house was clean. How stupid could you be?
I'm a mother of a almost soon to be 8-year-old autistic daughter, who at one point we had the best doctors in the world from Boston, Philly, and Boston Chop telling us your kid's never gonna walk and your kid's never gonna talk. Now I'm not sure that any of y'all have children or grandchildren like that, and I pray to God y'all never do. It's heartbreaking. Alright, my daughter's also taught me valuable lessons. I now can stand here and say I know what unconditional love is. Because my child wants for nothing. She asks for nothing. I chose not to enroll my daughter in public schools because of the crap I've dealt with since we've been here. I got to run around enrolling her. I quit my job. I homeschooled my child. We came to Columbus School. My daughter's been there for 3 years. Love it. It is not just a school, it is a family. That's right. I trusted educators with my kids like they were my own, like they were their own. My daughter came into that school, we had a nightmare. Hard time getting an IEP, hard time getting, I'm still having a hard time getting OT, PT, and speech. My daughter talks like she's deaf. There's no way you can deny me. None. Now I have to worry about a paraprofessional who my daughter loves, like a second mother, being taken out of her classroom because y'all can't find another way to do buddy cuts. That's not fair to her. What happened to kids not fair? That I work for, who's hired me as a one-on-one because their school district also privatizes. They hired me and their salary to sit with their kid for 8 hours a day because it's that horrible. The other parents in that school on their phones all day. Let me tell you something else about your outsourced parent. My daughter's got a one-on-one in her IEP. The parent that y'all provided the first time because she was outsourced on her cell phone. My daughter got a phone call from school. The school doors closed on my daughter's hand because that parent thought it was more important to sit there and be on her phone. So what are the parents provided for this? You're paying minimum wage for a service for children who have no concept of what it's like to sit down, stop, and listen. Where's the background checks? And you're going to pay what you get for it. Now, if this happens, my daughter's out of Trenton Public Schools. And I know there's a whole lot of parents that are going to be with me. And that's a shame, because I've come to love those educators. And you guys also have almost 400 special ed kids outsourced now. How many more are you going to have, and how is that money coming from for it? Spend one day in the classroom like that. One day. That's all I want is 8 hours with my daughter. Her name's Nalani Hodge, and she's Miss Walker's special ed class. One day. She comes to the world. She's got all kinds of problems and runs together. One day. Half a day.
Well, I got to say case too. All right. Now I'm putting it like this. You guys are a disgrace. I'm gonna tell you how you are a disgrace. Because you're discriminating against all these special ed need kids. Okay? You're discriminating against the black kids because you're letting all the immigrant kids come to the school system, and you're letting all the black kids to the charter schools. Y'all losing money because this is what y'all do. Okay? Special ed is important. Every kid's education is important. And y'all not doing y'all jobs like y'all supposed to. Do you live in Trenton? Do your kids go to Trenton schools? Is your child disabled? No, they're not. So I'll put it like this. Each and every one of you need to put your damn resignation in because y'all need to go. Good luck.
services, which include speech, occupational, and physical therapists. In the 2015-2016 school year, the 16 district-related services provided 62,000 treatment sessions. The above state and federally mandated services are already written into students' IEPs. These IEPs are legal documents. These services must be provided. Contractors will not be able to provide the same amount of services that district employees currently provide. Historically, and I'm going back about 17 years, no contract agency has ever been able to even supplement related services. At most, they have only been able to provide 2 contractors per discipline at a time. We are the employees that generate the majority of the SEMI money. Our salaries should automatically be offset by that money. Where is the line item budget that provides the cost savings for these contract services? Securing a company to provide these services is one thing, but ensuring that they have enough therapists to cover the number of services needed is quite another. Again, there are 20 speech, occupational, and physical therapy positions in this district, and we all carry caseloads of between 45 and 65 children. The contractors that we currently have see less than half of the amount of children that we see. They actually refuse to take more kids. That just happened a couple of weeks ago. You will need to hire at least 40 of these contractors in order to cover all of the therapy services that our children in Trenton deserve and are entitled to according to their IEPs. How is that going to save the district money? You would have to hire double the amount of people that you have now. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. Over the years, the contractors have picked up every student referred, regardless of whether or not they qualified, according to the code. They recruit from classes and they don't discharge children when they should. They also choose to see a much lower caseload and most often do not even work 5 days a week. There is no oversight.
Please wrap up. I need the names of the folks that are giving the time. All right, Ms. Finley, 15 minutes.
There is no oversight by the district or their referring agencies so that they can refuse to perform any task that they do not want to do. Again, this just happened a couple of weeks ago. In the past, some of these contractors have committed Medicaid fraud by billing for services that they did not provide. They have also stolen several of the district's materials, testing materials valued at over $1,000. Again, these agencies can never provide more than 2 or 3 therapists at a time to districts. If you are counting on us to go and work for the agency, think again. We will not work for an agency that has no vested interest in the district students. We are here because we care about our students and we want to be here. The agency's interest in making money will interfere with our being able to be a part of the school community as we currently are in this district. This is why agencies have difficulty recruiting related service providers and why they will never be able to fill our positions. There is a national shortage of speech, occupational, and physical therapists. 2 of us have already secured jobs after just 1 interview, pending the outcome of your decision. 1 was asked if she could start next month. Quite simply, you will not have enough therapists next year to fulfill the requirements of thousands of IEPs starting in September. And those IEPs will immediately be out of compliance. Thousands of our parents will be filing due process. And they will win. So, you will be shelling out all of that money that you claim that you will be saving, and then some. I ask you, are you really willing to gamble with our children's future? Trenton children deserve better. Some of the representatives of the related service team. As I said, I'm Tiffany Finley. I have been a speech therapist in this district for almost 23 years, and I currently have 50 students on my caseload at Stokes Early Learning Center.
I service Wilson School and Dunn Middle School. I've been with the district 28 years and I service 65 students.
My name is Michelle Brecky. I'm one of the school occupational therapists. I've been here 14 years. I service 4 schools in the district. I'm usually between 4 to 6. I have Grant, Wilson, Parker, and Dunn. I have 45 kids on caseload. The majority of them are twice a week. And, you know, we are the direct service providers to these kids. We provide the services. And Ms. Ferrier, we've all gotten your emails about the working environment. Instead of sending out emails, why don't you come and see what we do? I've emailed you in the summer twice. You need to come, all of you, and see what we do in a day. We go to multiple schools, 2 and 3 schools in some of these days. Come with us and see what we do. Thank you.
I've been in this district for 25 years, and I currently have a caseload of 50 students.
My name is Janice Phillips, and I'm a speech therapist in the district for 14 years. I service 2 schools, PJ Hill and Daylight Twilight High School, and I have 50 students on my caseload.
Karen Davis, I've been an occupational therapist here for 17 years. I actually was the first therapist hired back to start up the in-district OT program because it failed miserably before. When they outsourced. Yes. I am at Gregory School, Mott, and PJ Hill. I have 52 students and I love our kids. I'm one of the speech language specialists in the district. I service Parker and Columbus and Delani's mom. I just got the referral today. I will be testing her for speech. And I have a caseload of 60 students this year.
My name is Wendy Lockhart, and I am the only physical therapist in the school district. So I service any kid that requires physical therapy. I go to 10 to 12 schools a week. And this time I will be evaluating your child, but I doubt he's going to get physical therapy next year if I'm not here.
I'm Ingrid Warren. I was the second occupational therapist hired. I've worked 17 years in the district. I work in 4 schools, and I carry a load of 45 students.
I'm Dejit Mitra. I'm the occupational therapist. I work at 2 schools, Rivera Middle School as well as Stokes. I have a caseload of 44. I love all my kids. Thank you.
My name is Ben Kenyon. I'm actually a 17-year military veteran, and I served overseas with honor, and I greatly appreciate the service. But I've also served here for 17 years, and that has been a bigger honor and more fulfilling than my service overseas. I currently go to 5 schools I have over 55 students. That includes 504. Maybe we're forgetting those as well. That's a federally mandated program. I've driven over 1,600 miles this year going between school to school with no charge to the district. That's all.
Miss Samantha Lynch. Miss Lynch.
Thank you. I won't hold you that long. I stand here today not just as an advocate for parents in the district, but as a parent who is the employer of several of you on the board, or sitting up here with the board. Issue number one, budget. Now, I'm well aware that balancing the budget is a big job, and I'm not in denial of that. My question is, why hasn't the increases in the administration pay been effective? Issue number two, parent voice. What has the district-wide PTA and PTO done this year? Can anybody tell me? Second question, what's the status of your CPAC? No answer. It is clear that you trust that these parents are sleeping and are not aware of what is going on, but I come to guarantee you just one thing today. My job, my purpose from this day forward will be to wake every parent up. Now, that might not mean much to some, but some of you may have not been introduced to how our Trenton parents can get. So I say this, please be wise and make wise decisions now, because the spark is already lit. And once the fire spreads, it will not be good. So please wake up, pay attention to what everyone here is saying, because it's not for naught. We will make sure that the parents come up, stand up, and take notice of what's being done for their children who employ you. And I guarantee you that if this district pushes parents to their limits, you will have students fleeing this district left and right. Then you won't have a job, and you will join those 92 paraprofessionals.
Hi, I'm Lisa Conzo. I've been a Trenton City resident for over 30 years. This is my daughter Samantha. She's completely nonverbal. Without Nicole's help, she would have not gotten a communication device that was written into her IEP a year and a half ago, and she only just got it last week. She needs that to communicate. I understand that there is a budget that has to be met, but it's almost like, especially with these special needs children, it's like choosing to not feed one of your children. And all decisions that need to be made, I think need to be made as if you were making these decisions for your own children.
That's right.
And it is hard, I understand that. But they really do need us, and the paraprofessionals, every time you outsource, you're introducing another new person into their life. And I know with my daughter and a lot of these children, they need people who are familiar with them. Because they're not your typical. You can see by her behaviors here, she doesn't know what to do. But they are familiar with all their little needs. And it's hard, every time you introduce somebody, you create a delay into their care. Right. That's pretty much what I have to say.
Thank you.
Miss Alicia Jacobs. Miss Denton, Jacqueline Denton. Ms. Denton, your 6 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, board members, Ms. Marianne, Ms. Howard. And I'm speaking on behalf of the staff at the Stokes Early Childhood Learning Center. 3 years ago, Stokes opened as a preschool. It is a wonderful thing to have a nurturing and safe environment for our children. We have had 5 administrators in 3 years. No advertising, no leadership, no support noted. Yet the teachers and the paraprofessionals keep on, and the support staff keeps going on to provide a safe, nurturing, clean, and educational atmosphere for the children. Why? Because children come first. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. Working with the preschool population is our passion, and we want to continue to inspire these little ones. Initially, the reason behind using provider sites was due to the lack of space in the schools for our youngest Trenton students 18 years ago. Today, it's quite the opposite. We need to keep the children in district and not encouraging them to go to private providers, leading them to charter schools. The rumors are that classrooms will now set up in 3 schools with anywhere between 6 to 8 classes. We currently have 17 classes at Stokes. What happens to the other 9 to 11 classrooms and staff? Keep Stokes open in addition to opening new classrooms planned for P.J. Hill, Wilson, and Grant. We need to be competitive. We need to be current. We need to contract out for before and after care. Some may not realize that this can be done using subsidies through Child Care Connection. We need to get the word out through the community, newsletters, local newspapers, radio. We need to advocate for the district, not private providers. Keeping Stokes open gives the district the opportunity to shine and offer the parents the chance to see that Trenton Public Schools works. We would be sending mixed messages to our parents closing Stokes. We don't need your little ones in your schools, so why would we need you for kindergarten or first grade or so on? This will continue to contribute to the decrease in our overall enrollment. We want all the students, not just upper grades. We are always encouraging our parents to take an active role in their children's education by participating in their learning experience and to stay in the district. Together, we can make a difference. The preschoolers at Stokes are in an environment that offers educational growth and safety. We have an amazing playground, which is so important in offering opportunities for developing gross motor skills and the fight against obesity. Are you aware that the number of private providers that do not have playgrounds or have inadequate playgrounds? Closing Stokes would affect the lives of many people, starting with over 100 little ones that should be returning to our school. Many of them are special ed and inclusion classes. Then we have the staff, 23 teachers, 21 paraprofessionals, 2 secretaries, 3 custodians, 2 speech therapists, 1 physical therapist, 2 occupational therapists, 2 security guards, and a nurse. Currently, we have 222 children, most that we've had in 3 years. 55 in self-contained special ed classes, 37 in inclusion, 130 in regular ed. Yes, we may have space for them in providers, but will they receive the necessary services that we currently provide? No. Who would provide the special educational services for the children? Would these children be leaving the district, costing the district even more money than offering these services here? Wake up. Being in one building, we can meet for common planning, we can collaborate with one another, we can offer each other support and tap into various levels of expertise for the health, well-being, and educational progress of each and every student.
How would we be providing a safe environment for our children with cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, or autism, to name a few of the medical conditions children at Stokes face on a daily basis? Would they be walking in the crowded halls with upperclassmen? Is this a good place for our small little ones? Despite little or consistently changing leadership, we have managed to continue to do our respective jobs here at Stokes. Our parents have been getting to know us over the last 3 years. They are returning and telling their friends about us. We need to continue. Questions to ask yourself. If you were a business, we would be in the startup phase. Any startup company or business needs about 5 years to show any success. We can't open a deli without proper management, without a sign or advertising and expect customers. Most people in the community still think we are an elementary school. We didn't even have a sign on the building until March of this year, and that was purchased by the staff. Don't we deserve to have the leadership to lead and the opportunity to get the word out that we are a preschool? Would it be cost-effective to send children out of the district for special education needs? Why hasn't the school been promoted for the last 3 years by administration? Would the community have less space in our Trenton Public Schools if we can't provide for the youngest of our students? We can't do it, so send them out to providers. Based on the stipulations of the grant from Joseph Stokes' family, can this site be used by another provider other than the Trenton Public Schools?
Ms. Denton, please correct me.
Yes. Corrective action plan is what we need, not closing. Yes, we are to offer choice to our parents, but how many stay here next year? Parents are not sure why we're closing. We need to be informed. Knowledge is power. All we need to know is what's going on here at Stokes from the administration level regarding our school. Please visit us and see the wonderful things we are doing there.
My name is, Marie. My name is Dr. Page. And I'm not here to motivate anybody. I'm not like Donald Trump, although he may be right sometimes to fight. But I'm the type of guy who takes. I do believe this should take place in October or November. And since it didn't, the question is why? If I knew in October and November, and I'm not being paid, all these questions and everything that people have, if this was in suburbia, it would have been done. But it wasn't. And the question is why? And the reason why I say I take what I want, I've always had the best lawyers. I haven't lost a case. Okay? Whenever the Trenton Board of Education called me in or said something, it was to solve a problem. This problem, as you well know, is too late. But it's not too late if you go to the courts. That's what I believe in. If you ever decide that you want to begin to solve some of your problems, call me. I believe in having strong people around me. That's why I'm making mistakes. I also believe that there are a lot of folks who owe me. I put millions of dollars in some households, sent some kids to college. I don't ask. I demand that you give back. So in order
any money. When we used to do it, C&P stood for Copeland and Page. The Black Teachers Association was started at Junior 1. I wonder why, because I was a teacher there. There's also something in the Bible, and I'm not good at that, my minister left. It talked about not being able to service two masters. How does that refer to Trenton Board of Education and public education? The only way to find out, there was a case, and it was held up for 4.5 years. And then when the president of the NAACP, Mrs. Smart, decided, come on, Dr. Page, she said, we're going down to tell the superintendent that tomorrow we will be in the prosecutor's office. And do you know the next day, that problem was solved in an hour? And so what I'm saying to all of you out here, stop dealing with the problem. Say it. And solve the problem. Say what you want. And if you didn't call me and ask for help, and you owe me, hey, I'm coming after you. If you don't owe me, you don't have anything to work. I believe in strong, smart people. You're very smart and very strong. You could be on my team. But all the decisions end up with me. There's Julie Thomas, who has 5,000 educators and her asset. Why didn't somebody call her and ask? All you had to do was ask for all those sorority sisters to give input. That's why I never made mistakes. Everybody else around me did all the research. And I'm saying, if we pull our brains together, all of us, there's something called professional conduct, which could lead to a criminal investigation. Stone to find some answers to your problems. And I say to you again, I'm cheap. But I'm going to take what I want. And I am saying this to the mayor and any of his representatives who are there. Tell the mayor he owes me. And tell him why didn't he call me and ask me for help? Because I would have called who? Julie Thomas. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Person that gave me. I did. It should be 9 actually. That was the alright. Well, first I want to introduce myself to the public. Some people know me, some people don't. My name is Billy Hayes, and I'm a proud graduate of Trenton Central High School. Education activist. I'm a former district employee. Some people know, some people don't know. And at this time, I would like to publicly express my displeasure with the budget process and the laying off of over 100 employees in the Trenton Public Schools. Tonight's board agenda reflects the elimination of positions that are needed to provide our students with a thorough and efficient education. The problem here is deeply rooted in the illegal budget process. I have identified 8 problems with the budget process. Number one, the Board of Estimates meeting was not properly advertised. The information provided by the district noted that a public discussion will be taking place instead of a public hearing. The public hearing for Type 1 districts must take place at the Board of Estimates meeting. Number two, the board secretary was absent from the Board of Estimates meeting, and the board attorney performed the duties of the board secretary. This is a conflict of interest. According to NJSA 18A 22-2, the board secretary must also serve as the secretary of the Board of Estimates. This individual must also be a certified school business administrator. Is Mr. Lattimore a certified school business administrator? Number three, the Board of Estimates meeting that took place was illegal because there was not a quorum. Procedures were not followed regarding the appointment of members to the Board of Estimates. According to NJSA 18A 22-1, because Trenton is a Type 1 district, its members must be appointed by their governing bodies. This did not happen. The board president nor the city council president has the authority to appoint members to the Board of Estimates. It must be done as a body. Number four, the board attorney failed to provide competent representation by incorrectly noting the reason why the Board of Estimates meeting was canceled. Number five, the superintendent and the board failed to follow the process to close Stokes School. The long-range facilities plan approved by the state still recognizes Stokes School as open for the next 5 years. The board failed to amend the LRFP prior to passing a resolution to submit the budget to the county superintendent for review and approval. Number six, the budget itself is discriminatory against the students in the Trenton Public Schools based on race and disability. Number seven, the failure of the Board of Education to adhere to the regulations regarding the budget is an example of union busting and an unfair labor practice. The budget cuts and the political posturing has also contributed to the relocation of the students in the Special Parent Advocacy Group. This organization is an asset to Trenton families. These actions that took place these past few weeks have been disturbing. Individuals must be held accountable. The superintendent and the business administrator were actively involved in preparing this illegal budget. According to the Board of Examiners, according to NJAC 6A 9B 4.4, the Board of Examiners may revoke or suspend the certificates of any certificate holder on the basis of demonstrated inefficiency, incapacity, conduct unbecoming of a teacher, or other just cause. Board members must also follow the School Ethics Act. And I also sent an email to all of the board members, to the board attorney, and to the state monitor concerning the illegal budget. So when it's time to go to court, when it's time to go to the Board of Examiners, when it's time to go to school ethics, and when it's time to be subjected to attorney discipline, we have documentation that you are all notified of the illegal budget. When it comes down to children and public education, I am not compromising. I've been that way my entire life, since I was a student at Trenton High. At the last meeting that we had, I did ask for Jason Red to step down. I'm here to tell you to your face that I want you to step down. Because you don't understand these children. You don't relate to the students here, go out to principal. I'm also asking for Gerald Trueheart to step down.
You don't have additional time. I'll give you an additional minute, but you don't have additional time. We've gone through this shit.
I took pictures of it, I have documentation through my phone.
We've been here. Don't.
See? Well, okay. You want to sit there and listen, it's not, I took pictures of it, I have proof. And I also want Gerald Trueheart to step down. Because Mr. Trueheart was the chair of the SDA committee when we started with Trenton Central High School. And some people don't know that there were students that were taking, on a trip to the Trenton High demolition site. The principal of Trenton Central High School and the superintendent, Lucy Ferry, decided that it was a good idea to take our kids to a demolition site that was unsafe without board approval. And this board did nothing. And Trueheart was the chair of that committee, and he did nothing. You're supposed to be a pastor, and it's a shame. You are a false prophet. And so, I would encourage the public to file a complaint. That's slanderous, Mr. Hayes. It's not slanderous. It's not. You want to go to court and deal with it, you know, we can go before a judge and they can make a decision about whether it's slander or not. You know, that's the only resolution. So before I sit down, I want to encourage the public that you have to start filing complaints and go after their bread and butter, because that's the only thing that they understand. It's not enough to file a complaint against the district and the board as a body. You have to start filing complaints against individuals as well. And I would like to publicly ask that this entire Board of Education step down.
This month has seen a share of current events. Initially, a clandestine layoff of over 160 people initially. Then it was a forced acceptance of 2 candidates who probably should have made much of it for superintendent. Closing of the school, privatization of the whole special ed department, and now secretaries are forced to walk the plank. So through all this, we had constant exchange, verbal exchanges that were borderline character assassination, both public and private. So we have to ask the question, through all of this, what did we learn? What did we learn? So did we learn that busted judgment sometimes tip the scale unfavorable toward injustice and inequality? Did we learn that the faith of the people and the faithful should also be considered in that quest to be righteous? Did we learn that progress and satisfaction sometimes is defined differently by the oppressor than it is by the oppressed? Did we learn that the community made more concerned about its representation than you thought? Did we learn or believe that education matters to the parents of this community? Did we learn that these people want more and should expect more from this board leadership? Or are we so transfixed on this archaic notion that the people should just acquiesce to your displaced value? Did we learn that the current proposed measures suggested to save our students are the mere changes that eat away at the fabric and threaten this core foundation? Did we learn that peaceful protests, they will continue, and they're going to grow? In an effort to steer or change the culture of the board who seemingly lacks sympathy for the staff, parents, and students of this community? If your answer is no, or you have not learned, perhaps there's a failure in the test from leadership, or your heart has become so hardened to be necessary to be the change agents that this district so desperately needs. If your heightened frustration and decline desire to be here gave way to cause you to be dismissive, to exchange and comprehensive dialogue, perhaps the essence necessary to enable a new pathway of promise to be ushered in before it's too late. The people have learned, and this experience has taught them a great deal. What about you, and what have you learned? So I like to say this in the mind of my past experience as a union representative for over 6,000 people throughout the state of New Jersey, who fought privatization of prisons, Christian Whitman. I say to this board, right, you guys have a powder keg right here, and your decisions going forward will determine which direction this powder keg goes. So I suggest that you guys take hard thought, look at your proposals, take a hard thought, look at how you engage the unions and the community before this thing explodes and get out of control. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Corinne Brooms. I'm before you representing the Trenton chapter of the NAACP as the Education Committee Chair. So that every one of you is clear this evening, the NAACP is here to oppose the decisions of either the state monitor, to once again lay off any Trenton Public School staff member. City staff and the closing of Stokes Early Childhood Learning Center, which serves as pre-K and special needs students. This decision is repetitive. Every decision and conversations in the last several years as it relates to the budget has been about dollars and cents and not about the children of the Trenton Public School District. As the committee looked at the agenda, we noticed that not one request complies with a directive sent to Superintendent Ferrier on February the 8th by the Assistant Commissioner of the Department of Education, Robert Bunkers. In that letter, it directs the Trenton Public School District, and I quote, that the proposed FY 2017 budget needs to include adequate resources to align and address deficiencies where personnel and programmatic resources are required. Nowhere did that director state lay off 167 teachers and staff. Now, what is most painful and difficult, Interim Superintendent Ferrier, is to witness the effects that budget decisions over the years have had on the students and teachers of this district. Not enough books in the classroom for every student to bring home. Special needs students not receiving the help they need through the layoffs and privatization. Students having to walk across town through dangerous neighborhoods and bad weather just to get to school because busing was stopped. Teachers having to write home to ask parents to purchase smartphones and other tools for their children because the district did not supply the tools that they needed to educate their students properly. What is being done inside and outside of the classroom to protect and educate our students? When budget cuts continue to hurt those we are here to help, it's time to go back, take a hard look at the budget. The NAACP is prepared to take whatever measures necessary to ensure that this type of action is not repeated now or in the future, especially when the new administration is selected. We will be seeking specific answers to specific and direct questions, and will no longer accept mediocre responses from this administration, the board, or the department, the State Department of the New Jersey Department of Education. The city of Trenton children's civil rights are being violated by a lack of proper education and support, needs, and opportunities that they are entitled by the law. And that's in NJSA 18 and NJAC 6A. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. My name is Fred Herndon. I'm a past president of the Trenton Branch NAACP, and I had my remarks all prepared. But the first person that came up here, I believe, was Reverend Justice. And he took me completely off the mark, because as he spoke, I watched our special needs children's faces. They knew what he was saying. They knew he was talking about them. And they knew that they were getting a bad deal. They were losing their second mother. I could not understand in my life how you could decide in all of the budget cuts that can be possible that you would eliminate the most important part of our future. That just does not make any sense. But before I make a couple of quick comments I think I should make to myself, I know that the Trentonian is here tonight, and they should take a picture of you guys. At the bottom of it, shame on you. Since then, we've had several superintendents, and I got to take a minute to say we've heard great things about the interim superintendent, because we attend a lot of meetings. But we've had superintendents, several superintendents since 2010, and we can continue to change superintendents. But I think the cuts should go a little bit deeper, maybe into administration. Who are we listening to make these decisions? We're laying off good, hard-working, tax-paying people that if they can't pay for their houses, they lose their houses, if they're not against the city's budget waiver, they go on assistance. If you would have told them you're not saving a dime. Give me one more minute, Mr. Red, and I'll be out of here. I want to tell you, Mrs. Broom said just about everything we had to say, but I want to tell you what NAACP is prepared to do at this time. We're going to ask the Board of Education for copies of personnel contracts and the itemized budget. We're going to pay if necessary for a forensic review of the budget. Answers about priorities in the budget. Where does the cost of books fit? And is it true that children are using books from 1997? And that the children don't have books to take home. We want to know where in the budget the priority for purchasing books are located. We're going to ask the State Department of Education for copies of the state monitor's reports. We're going to keep the public and the parents and the clergy informed by personal contact and letters. We're going to be the advocate for the children. Very important. Everything we do here should be around the in-school teacher and the children. It should need to do. Teaching is a passion. And if you don't have that passion, quit. And you need to seek your own counsel in making these decisions that you're making. And in closing, when you guys go to Thanksgiving dinner, a regular dinner, and you put your head down and you say your grace to the Lord, and you lift your head and you look around at your family and your kids, ask yourself, do I want my children treated the way that we have treated these children?
Senator Turner.
Good evening, everyone. I know this has been a long evening, and you have heard from a number of people, and they've said, I guess, most of what needs to be said. But I wanted to come and to thank all of you for your service and the work that you're doing. It's not an easy job. Just as it's not an easy job serving in the legislature in this state, because we know money is scarce, and we know that the needs are great. And when you have to make difficult decisions, you need to think long and hard as to who you're going to cut. And when you're balancing budgets, you don't balance the budgets on the backs of the most vulnerable people. When I read the people who were being laid off in order for you to balance this budget, it seemed as if it was the least, the last, and the lost. And these are the very people who need the help the most. And you have a difficult job. I've been trying to help in terms of finding more revenue. I went to the governor's office about 2 weeks ago and asked for more funding because the city of Trenton has been flat funded for far too long. You get less money, it really boils down to less money because the cost of everything goes up except for your funding. And I pointed out to the governor's office that there's no parity because the city of Trenton receives $229 million from the state. And Camden receives $380 million, and Camden has 1,000 children less. So there's no fairness there. So the only thing that they could tell me was go to the Department of Education and discuss the formula with them because it's so complex. But that does not help us here today. We need to, of course, have a balanced budget, but we have to also have a balance in terms of fairness. Now, 92 paraprofessionals being laid off is not fairness. And when you look at the teachers, 32 teachers are slotted to be laid off. And these are people who directly impact the classroom, the learning of our students. And these are the people, too, who don't make the big bucks. I think it should be proportionate. How many of the administrators are you laying off? That's where the big bucks are. Money. You could say some of these jobs, more than a few jobs, with an administrator's salary. But I know that this is probably not going to happen. This is like deja vu all over again. We were in the same situation last year with layoffs, a school closing. Last year it was Monument, this year it's Stokes. Next year, what school is it going to be and how many more people are we going to lay off? And one of the problems we know that exists here in the city of Trenton, but also in other cities as well in this state, is the charter schools. We lose too many of our students to charter schools. And we know that the money follows the child. The money leaves the district. But at the same time, the need still exists. We can't just say you have fewer students, therefore you don't need more money, because that is not true. Right. And that's particularly true when it comes to special needs students. And these charter schools are not taking the special needs students. And they're not enrolling the students who have English as a second language. So you need more money in order to educate those students with special needs. And we're not providing that funding. And I know that I think somebody told me as I was coming in here, that you had no choice, that the Department of Education told you you had to lay off or privatize the paraprofessionals. And when I spoke to the governor's office about that, they denied it. They said, no, we did not tell you. They said that was the decision of the local Board of Education. Where the truth lies. Now, is it true that you said that the Department of Education said for you to lay off or to privatize? Well, I guess you're just here to listen. You're not called kickbacks. But I just want you to search your hearts and do the right thing. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jarrell Blakely. I am a teacher in the Trenton Public Schools, as well as a graduate of the Trenton Public Schools. However, I'm just speaking as a resident, as someone who lives in Trenton and has lived in Trenton my entire life. And I thought a lot about what to say today. I thought about all of the issues that are going on in our district, from the superintendent search to the layoffs. And I thought of a saying from Fannie Lou Hamer. And she said, and I'm paraphrasing here, she stated that whether you went to Morehouse or no house, we're in this bag together. And whether you have a PhD or a no D, we're all in this bag together. And when I think about that comment that she said in the 1960s, I thought about how relevant that topic was today. You see, when we're talking about layoffs, it always strikes me that we see that it's the least of these, the folks at the bottom that have to have or bear the brunt of the cuts. And I really think that it's really an insult for people who live in this city, people who pay taxes, people that dedicated their entire career to furthering the education of Trenton's young people. And so that's one comment that I would like to think about. But there's another issue, a broader issue that I would like to discuss. I know you guys have a very difficult job. I do not envy you coming here and hearing over 50 folks castigate your leadership. However, we're fighting for our children. And if we're not willing to come here and talk about the real issues, then we shouldn't have our children. The fact of the matter is, as many, we may blame all of you, collectively, there's another person in here who's a representative from the larger issue. And it's that guy right there. The fact of the matter is, and I'm not trying to be involved. This is very important. Because you know what? We spend a lot of time castigating this school board, but this guy gets paid more money on his paycheck is probably larger. For him just sitting here is larger than a paraprofessional's weekly salary. And he just sits here, doesn't say anything, and just sits here and takes our money. The fact of the matter is, if you don't do anything today, because I see you writing stuff down, write down this message. Tell the governor that it is a state constitutional obligation to fund the Trenton Public Schools. It is not something that he should do in his spare time from his terrible run for president. The fact of the matter is, we have to make sure that we redistribute the pain. Because right now, we are arguing. One thing that I'd like to say is that, let me wrap up. Sure. All too often, we are confrontational with you guys. Well, in terms of the tenor of the relationship. And that comes from us really wanting your help. The fact of the matter is, we get sick and tired of rallying the troops, of screaming and hollering and talking about the problems in the Trenton Public Schools. And when it comes times for commentary, you guys are silent. You guys are quiet. That is unacceptable. We're all on the same team. But unfortunately, the community, I'm going to wrap it up, the community in TEA has been in the game for 4 quarters. And what we're asking for is for you guys to lace up your shoes and get on the playing field with us. Because divided, we fall. United we stand. Let's work together. And tell Les Bridges, go home. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your attendance tonight. My name is Morella Combs, and I've served the special needs students of this district proudly for 16 years. But tonight I stand here as the voice for the 2,200 special ed kids that we service as child study team members. As you know, 3 of our teams are slated to be laid off based on this budget. But I want to share with you a story from the beginning of this school year. Sean, who was a first of kindergarten at Grant School, came to Grant School nonverbal. He's a nonverbal autistic child. When he came to the school, his mom came with an advocate, and she wanted him out of district. We all know about $100,000 goes out with every kid that goes out of district. But we met with the principal, the advocate, the parent, the speech therapist, and the child study team, and we put together a plan. And today, Sean has language. Sean can listen. This is the commitment that the child study team brings each and every day to the students that we are committed to serve here. But I'm just a little confused about some of the characteristics that I'm seeing from this board and interim superintendent. It's almost like, because I'm a clinician by trade, it's almost like you're exhibiting the criteria for multi-personality disorder. So you may ask, what are you basing this criteria on? Well, I went online today and I saw this wonderful pamphlet that we can print out that says on the back, the superintendent's priorities. Number 3, to provide a safe, fun, and relevant learning environment. For our special ed kids, when you have taken away 92 paraprofessionals that work closely to implement the IEPs that we deliver, how can you provide a safe, fun, and relevant learning environment? Let me go down to goal number 4. You are familiar with this. This is what you give out of community. Okay, thank you. So much you got the same thing. Number 4, students prepare for success in the workplace, post-secondary education, and a positive contribution to the community. How can our kids do that when you have usurped everything that we put in the IEPs to make sure they're successful? Right behind you, the mission statement for this district says, right behind you, motivated to learn continually and be prepared to succeed at their choice of career or college. How can you honestly remove all the support systems that our special ed kids need and live by that mission statement? And let me go on. Someone to give me time.
Who gives you?
Tracy Davis. And let me go on. Another. Is this not your work product? It says the district's focused work. Let's talk about the goals of the district. Goal number 4, enhance human capital policies and procedures. Implement changes in policies and procedures that relate to human capital in order to better manage teacher effectiveness and positive student outcomes. How can you do that? First of all, it's not a measurable goal. That's another question, because as a child studies team social worker, we have to write measurable goals to show that our students make progress every year. This is not a measurable goal. But when you take away child study teams 3, currently we have 13 teams. We average 200 to 250 cases per team. Our district team has 300 cases, and it's just 3. So now you're going from 13 to 10, and you've already heard our compliance issues. How can we be compliant when you're not even giving us the equipment, but yet still you have a goal to enhance human capital based on your district goals? And let's go again. So we're talking about multi-personality disorder. So that's the superintendent and the leadership. So let's talk about the code of ethics that's on 18A 12-341. Because I understand it is a volunteer position, but you do stand by a code. Letter B, I will make decisions in terms of educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools that meet the individual needs of all children. This is the code of ethics that I am quoting from. Letter I will support and protect school personnel and proper performance of all their duties. How can you say you will support and protect us when you're willing to lay off 9 special ed certified, highly qualified, highly educated service providers to the most needed and vulnerable kids in this district? So yes, you are exhibiting a schizophrenic multi-personality. Good school board member, I went and I Googled it. It says a great school board member communicates in their actions to the community. Question mark. Leave it alone. The next says a great school board member will focus on what's best for all students. I'm gonna leave it alone. So the next one says when tough questions are asked, and I understand, I'm wrapping up, I have 1 minute. So
So it says, an effective school board will ask the tough questions. When you were faced with this budget, did you ask, what is the goal of this budget cut? How much is it aligned with the vision, just repeated, the mission, just repeated, and the priorities set forth by this district? How much will it cost? And does the data, we're still waiting for our cost analysis, are we not, Madam President? How much will the cost impact our kids? I am just saying, if you want to say children come first, and based on the Cambridge Dictionary for Advanced Learners, when you say come first, that means it is an important priority, and you're willing to put everything first. So how can you say children come first when you have blatantly disregarded your code of ethics, you have failed to implement your goals and your priorities, and you're willing to sacrifice? We already had a superintendent candidate say she would sacrifice her kid to come to church school. So how can you sit there and think about our babies? Oh, I forgot, no one has kids in the district.
Janice, do you have anybody sign up? Because I don't have you down for 3 minutes.
No.
You didn't sign up though.
We know it's been a long evening, Board President Ben. Thank you. I sat here this evening and listened to my colleagues. Most of what I was going to say has already been said. But I looked at the cavalier attitude of some of the board members in the I know many of you do not like when I come to this mic because you don't like what I say and how I say it. But I've been saying it this way in this district for 36 years. And I will continue to say it for the next 2 years. And then I'll be gone, but I'll be coming back as a community resident. And maybe I'll be sitting in one of those seats. Remember, when the mayor asked you to take on this role, you could have said no. But you said yes. So when you don't like what we said, don't get angry. Don't tell us we're going to get a butt whipping this evening. Because you said yes. And you could have said no. But I'm going to piggyback on what Morella said, because this is what I was going to say. I have a problem with board members who are making decisions for black and brown children who work for charter school, send their kids to private school. One sends their kids across the river and we pay for the transportation, but yet we lay off people. Ooh, how about that? Then we have another board member whose law firm represents companies investing in charters and vouchers. So how can you make decisions for black and brown children when you're trying to close our doors? How dare you sit up there and make decisions that directly impact black and brown children and close our doors, but the doors where you send your children are still open. Still open. Still open. And let me talk about the state monitor for a moment. Because see, this is what's happening. Central leadership will say that they've been directed by the state monitor. The monitor would say, I haven't told them to make any of these cuts. Everybody up there in leadership is throwing each other under the bus. We asked Ms. Ramirez, what was the cost savings for outsourcing speech, OTPT. The statute is clear, but you have a solicitor in his firm, cha-ching, who are telling you they don't think the statute is correct. The statute is quite clear. You must contract out to an education commission. The only commission that serves this area is Middlesex. Middlesex has already informed us that they no longer do physical therapy, OTPT. You can't hire Kaleidoscope because they're a private contractor. They're not an education commission. But again, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Because your solicitor told you. Now, you can outsource it. You know you're going into litigation. You know you're going to lose. But you're going to put those people out on the street. But I'm going to tell them to enjoy their unemployment because in September, you'll be back. That's everything contrary to the law. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. The solicitor doesn't care. His firms make the money. We make inquiries and they tell me, well, the lawyer said. Well, the lawyer said. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Taxpayers' dollars. Okay. Now let me talk about central leadership where they've increased positions. Assistant superintendents. Okay. But they directly impact services. But guess what? This time, they're all going to be responsible for evaluating principals. Well, we hired the great Lisa Johnson to come in and do that. Supposedly, that was supposed to be part of her job description. Never got done. We hired Lisa Johnson to come in to take over teacher evaluations because they had a manager that couldn't do it. When they downgraded his title, his union came in and said, no, you can't do that. I've got to still be a manager. So now, you're laying off people, and Mr. Graham serves on the Talent Acquisition Committee. You're laying off people, but in HR, 5 analysts, 2 managers, assistant superintendent, 2 confidential secretaries. One would ask, if you're laying off all of these people, how much work is left for HR? But I guess, you know, we play territorial positions, okay? I asked the superintendent, why do you need 2 confidential secretaries? Well, we get so many parent complaints. I said, that's odd because TA is on the phone every day with parents. So who's calling your office? Okay, that's the truth. So I said, and I'm not going to say to search your hearts because you've already showed me your cavalier attitude. But if you cannot send your children here, and you're sitting there making decisions for black and brown children, shame. Shame on you. And I offer you. Several meetings ago, some of you threatened that we don't have to take this. I'm going to give you a butt whipping, but I'm going to let you anyway. Well, guess what? Tonight, you've been receiving a butt whipping, but guess what? We're going to love you anyway, too.
Good evening. My name is Tawanda Taylor, and I am a City of Trenton taxpayer for all 46 years of my life I have lived here. It gives me great displeasure to come before you tonight. However, like we like to say in this district, I need to circle back. A little over a year ago, I stated at a board meeting the essential question. Teachers are always asked the essential question. Why is the district sick and in need of a prescription with all these doctors we have? Well, I just answered my own question indeed. You can see sickness all talk. It was a teacher that helped bring me where I am today. So today I'm going to continue to stand and fight, not just for the teachers, for all the little children, because most of you don't know, I have a special needs child too. Then Jason Gregg, you had a nerve on April 11th, 2016 to deny a permit I submitted for a community meeting. How dare you? I had dedicated my life to the Trenton Public Schools. I graduated from Trenton Central High School in 1987, and I went on to college, and I have given back my services for the past 24 years to the Trenton Public Schools. How dare you? Which you do not even have a right to do. And so, for your lack of regard to the public, and for your lack of sound decisions, and for your lack of full transparency, I break this Board of Education ineffective and a non-renewal is in order, effective immediately. Our students deserve better, and we will not allow you. We will not allow you to allow us to become the New Orleans of the North. Not now, not ever. There is institutional racism, and it must stop. Marilla, I hope I have delivered an antidote.
Ms. Dawn Howard. Rondell and Fanning. Alice Berman. Ms. LaFleur.
Good evening. We are here this evening as a community, as students, parents, teachers, paraprofessionals, to say to this board, this budget is unacceptable, and we're not going to just take it. We're going to say to you that when you took on this position, you said that you would fight in the best interest of our students and this community. We understand, as it has been said time and time again, what this budget process is all about. But you know the problem that we have with all of this is that you've no longer acted as advocates for the students in this community. What you have done in voting on that budget, and with the stares on your face right now, is become numb to the process. You do not actually realize the students that you are hurting. That is why we had to paint a picture that you may be able to start comprehending. Since you do not go into the schools to see our students, we had to bring them to you. strokes so that you can begin to understand. So in your numbness, I hope that that anesthetic is wearing off. Because what you need to realize is when you decide to cut these very crucial services for our special needs families, and it's in the sake of $1, that in the long run, you are going to incur more cost than you have dollars for. You have to understand the whole picture. We're trying to paint the picture for you so that it can become clear to you. Start processing. When you bring these students back into Trenton Public Schools, it is costing you approximately $20,000 per child to educate. Now, as it's already been said, when our parents are not satisfied because we no longer have adequate workers, with our speech, OT, and PT staff, with our paraprofessional staff, what you're going to have is, it's simple math, multiply each of these children by 3 or possibly 5. So your 20,000 now will become 60,000 or 100,000. Where are you going to get that extra money from? You see, you're not thinking this through. Because had you thought it through, you would have known better than to attack our most vulnerable population with this budget. Had you thought it through? So I know the solicitor doesn't have an answer for that. I know our special ed assistant superintendent doesn't have an answer for that. Maybe that's why she's asking. I don't know. But you need to start thinking things through. So maybe, Perry, you told them, please, let's go after special ed. I don't know. Because my firm can make a lot of money because we'll be in court all the time. I don't know. Did you truly think this through? This entire process has been like no other year. First, you try to throw us off guard by keeping everything a secret until March 21st. Then you planted little seeds, places where people started doubting their leadership, whether we had knowledge or not. But today, thank God, everybody knows the truth. That we did not know. And we are standing united to fight this madness. Because that's what it is. Behind it all, you have to ask the question, who am I being a puppeteer for? That's right. Because I believe each of you up there know a little bit about this corporate ed reform that's sweeping this country. And the billions of dollars that are behind it. And yes, Christie happened to have been funded by the Koch brothers too. And that's why he can still be on the trail, following behind Donald, right? And so he made sure first he tried with Schindler, didn't work, Surf, Hesby, all the same. Because they've been given marching orders. What to do, in which district. And then they put little state monitors like Mr. Les, to my right, who tries to be deceptive and thinking that he's harmless, but he's very harmful. Because we know why he's been put here. The county superintendent, that's another political appointment. She means us no good either. We're quite aware. And if you're aware, it's time for you to simply just just accepting everything they tell you to do. It's time for you to start saying, this is not our only option. Because the option they gave you leads us to failure. And for us, for this community, failure is not an option. Because it is our kids. These are our children. And they are going to get what they deserve. So these folks who are dangling you on the string and saying this year you're going to cut all these services to special education. We just wanted to see for once, just for once, that this board had the spine, the guts to fight for our children. We didn't see it. And we're not pleased. Because one thing is, if you had Snow and Les had to step in so that we could see the wolf in sheep's clothing, then let us see what we're dealing with. That's your obligation. If you truly care about these kids. Don't cover up the damage that the state is trying to do to us. You claim you love these children. Show it. Show it. Show it. We've been showing it for years, for decades. I've been riding this road up to Trenton since the 1980s. Show it. Don't make decisions that will hurt the weakest among us. To me, that's unforgivable. Unforgivable. My heart bleeds when I think that you will cut off opportunity for some of these children. That's what your decision has done. And you have to realize, you have to accept it. If you don't accept it, you can't correct it. So you can't tell me, I really do care, but your actions show me otherwise. You can't tell me, but I'm giving my time. Don't give me any time to hurt me, to put salt on my wounds. I don't need that. That's what this budget has done. On yesterday, we had more violence in this city. We don't know why. But we're obligated to educate these children. Because if we don't, there are buildings being built for them. We cannot perpetuate the school-to-prison pipeline. Our special needs population gets there quicker than the regular ed population. How can you do this? And you know, I'm usually not one who will dwell on emotion. But this is our children. These are our kids. We can't do this. And I don't want to hear any, you guys keep coming here to beat us up. No, we're coming here to wake you up. We're not coming here to beat you up. We need you to wake up, to understand that when you told the mayor that you would serve, that you said that you would serve for these children. Don't tell me you said that you're going to serve these children and then you feel it's all right to pass this budget. Because then, Morella, you can say it again. That's right. Crazy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I've been doing this a long time.
and we've been advocating for children. We're not going to stop fighting for these kids. And we're not going to let you turn it on us to make it seem that we're the problem. We're not the problem. We're the ones who are truly fighting for these kids. We've done it for years. And if you could count up the years in this room that people have been giving to our children, the little 3 years or 2 years, if you served on that board, or 5 years, it does not compare. It doesn't compare. So you're not ranking that high in my totem pole right now. You're simply not. I have to talk about this current leadership team. Because when Dr. Duran was here, he understood our bargaining agreement. He understood that we had collaborative language in our contract. But since Lissa has shown up and Perry, because we don't want either of you here. We don't want you here. We don't need you here. Because you're both anti-union. Okay? So if you want to fight TEA, if you think you can weaken TEA, let me tell you, it's not happening. Because when you're going, we're still going to be standing. And we're going to stand firm. Please understand that. And you're not going to tell Jason Ray that he can restrict who a union can bring to represent our body. That's not happening either. TEA will stand strong. Those things, when it comes to attacking the union, you better just back up. Because, Perry, we're not going to make you rich, okay? But we will find out enough to strip you from getting any more money from this district. Trust and believe that. Because it's about the kids. It's not about making your firm rich. We don't care about your firm, but we do care about our kids. Whose kids? Our kids. Whose kids? Our kids. Whose schools? Our schools. Whose schools? Our schools. One last thing. Let me invite the public, because we understand this fight. We understand that this fight has been taken to the State House. On May 15th, it's a Sunday afternoon. We are organizing a rally at the State House on West State Street from the hours of 1 to 5 p.m. We are calling on all parents, all organizations to come together and to let this Christie administration know that our students deserve equity, that they must address this funding formula and stop shortchanging children in Trenton and other urban areas in this state. So again, please come out on May 15th, 1 o'clock. We will see you on West State Street. Thank you.
Ms. Gloria Hernandez. Good evening, 3 minutes. 3 minutes? That's good. I would like to thank each and every one of these parents, teachers, union members, and everybody here. Excuse me, please. Can we give Mr. Rendon the courtesy of your exit, please exit quietly? Y'all need to take a look at the budget cuts y'all have made over the years. I drive for New Jersey Transit, and one of your budget cuts was the elimination of transportation for the children. We have to bus children who live in South Trenton to West Trenton. We have to bus children from East Trenton to North Trenton. We have to bus North Trenton to South Trenton. Our children are living in a war zone right now. There are rival sections fighting. They're not fighting with hands, they're fighting with guns. Just yesterday, we had 2 shootings. One shooting involved a 16-year-old girl getting shot in the head.
Her uncle is a member of our organization, Fathers of Men United for a Better Trip. We're out on the streets every day and every night trying to educate, protect, and serve our city. The second shooting happened on Martin Luther King Boulevard, where two shooters stood out of a minivan and fired over 50 shots from Roselle Avenue to Southern Street. That particular shooting hits my heart, because as y'all know, for 5 years I've been fighting this school board about my grandson. And guess what? I found him in Dolly Holmes, in that war zone. I've been fighting the school board because this school board made another bad decision of not making a principal do the right thing. So since the school board decided to not make that principal do the right thing, and nobody would understand or even follow up, I've been fighting his case for him. There's something called the discovery rule in the state of New Jersey, that the statute of limitation doesn't run out on bringing charges or civil suits on crimes or civil actions against people. Here's a copy. If you mind, can I give y'all one? The first page is the police report. In that police report, one of your principals stated to the police that me and my son came to the school to pick up my grandson, and she would not let the child leave because of conflicting reports, which was a lie. The child was already gone. So how can I pick up a child that's not there? That's the reason why I went to this school, because the child was not there. If you look to the 4th and 5th page, you will see where Ramaj Bradley was signed out by his 10-year-old sister at that time. So how can I go pick up a child that wasn't there, that was already signed out, and the principal said she's not letting leave the building? There's a lie in there somewhere. Then if you go to page 2, you have Ms. Hill's report. Her statement stating that me and my son did absolutely nothing wrong. That the mother had the child and came to the school uninvited and called the police on my son and had him arrested. And when I came to y'all to ask y'all to help settle this situation, I was ignored like these parents are being ignored tonight. I saw my grandson Friday. God put him in my path. Do you know what it's like when your own grandchild is afraid to talk to you, to look at you for fear of what his mother's going to do to him? Y'all made my grandchild that way. I had him for 5 years. He was a loving, happy-go-lucky kid when he left me. Now he's a kid living in fear. Why? Because as like tonight, this board refused to take action and stand up. I'm asking you again because I am contacting my lawyer, Patrick Whalen, and we're going to sit down and discuss bringing a civil suit on behalf of my grandson and my son against the school board. Because it's wrong. But you rewarded the principal by giving her another principal position. My son, I got a couple of more seconds, that's all I ask. A couple of more seconds. Explain to my son how he spent 90 days in jail for loving his son. Explain to my grandson how y'all took him out of a loving home and put him in a war zone where he has no chance and no knowledge of protecting himself, and nobody to guide or protect himself. I'm tired of coming down here. I'll fight with these people any chance they get because I don't want to happen to them what's happening to me. These kids deserve the best treatment. You're here to give them that best treatment. Our children every day walk through a war zone. And nobody's saying anything. One last thing. A homeless high school kid came to me and said, Minister, didn't you speak one time to the board about funding for us high school kids that are homeless? And I said, yes, I did. He said, what happened to it? I said, I don't know, you have to ask the board. The money went to, I know they're supposed to be giving money to Homefront, but Homefront doesn't take in high school kids. Where is that money going? Is it still going to Homefront? Has a program been implemented for the high school kids that are homeless, sleeping in abandoned cars, on porches now that it's hot, or on friends' porches? Look at some of the decisions that they're making that are affecting our children. You're not helping our children, you're killing them. You are killing our children. Please stop. When you pick on these children, you really got to ask yourself, where is my heart? You can run, but you can't run from yourself. Remember that.
Good evening. My name is Terry Edwards and I'm a paraprofessional. Now the state mandated that we all became highly qualified, so my colleagues and I went back to school, we got our college degrees, we passed the para protest, and we got our substitute certificates. We are all very highly qualified. Now, despite all of that, despite all of our collective education and knowledge, you're choosing to lay us off. Why? How does laying off 92 paraprofessionals fit into the slogan, children come first? The answer is it doesn't. Laying us off is only going to put money into the pockets of the people who own Michigan Light and Insight. It doesn't help our children, and it certainly doesn't help us. Let me give you a little insight as to the Insight people. This is what they do. They come to school late, they leave early. They sit next to their one-on-one child and they literally fall asleep. They're on their phone, they're texting, they're playing games. They do not do anything with their one-on-one child. Now that's the caliber of people that you are going to hire and lay off myself and my colleagues. That doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. It is cheaper to pay a paraprofessional as a sub than it is to pay the Mission One people. Again, dollar and cents. We're all looking for money. Why not use in-house people? We're cheaper. We know the kids and we got the knowledge. The obvious choice is to not lay off the powers, to keep us. And the best thing, lay off Insight.
Yes.
Ms. Margaret Keeper. Gertie McFall. Bill. Susan Sino. Deborah Jones. Diane Martin York. Valerie Rivers. Carrie McIntyre. Rhonda Williams. James Edwards.
How you guys doing? I'm Trentonian, born and raised in Trent. Went through the Trent school system, from Park School, Dunn Middle School. I currently work as a power professional at Dunn Middle School. I'm in the BD classroom. And I work with a few of the one-on-one interests that you had. Like the last pair I told you, they're on their phone, they're sleeping, they come late, they do whatever they want to do. But that's when you want to replace me, where I have students that I work with. They look at me as their father. They look at me, but they don't see their father on a regular basis. They don't see many black males, period, in a positive role model. And I also was informed that if I lose my job as a parent, my dream job was coaching at Trent Central High School. I coach currently at Trent Central High School, but the freshman team. And I might have to lose that opportunity as well. So I don't know exactly what your plans, because I really love my job. I like going to work. I come to work every day happy. Like every kid that knows me knows I have a smile on my face because I love my job. And that's all I have to say.
Monica Carmichael. Alfonso Yana. Now, wait, hold on a second. Phyllis Brandon. Yeah. No, there's people that the online side. Phyllis Brandon. Barbara Beston. Ethan. Danielle Johnson. Sandra Wolverton. Yolanda Rodriguez. Keisha Pittman. Shannelise Green. Marla Domino. Principal Grant. You have 15 minutes from here on out.
I'm actually living like 35. I know y'all been here a long time. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Miss Williams. All right, I know my time has started. First, I want to say, in the midst of all the statements, I want to talk about one thing, and I'm hoping that one thing leads all of our discussions and decisions and thoughts. Good news. I have an 11th grade STEM student who has scored in the top 2.5% of all Hispanic PSAT test takers in our region. Let me say that again. A Trenton Central High School STEM student has scored in the top 2.5% on the PSAT. Out of 250,000 test takers, this student will be one of 5,000 that will be recognized through the National Hispanic Recognition Program through the College Board. We thank the teacher, we thank everyone, because we recognize that everyone in our schools are so very important. The last few weeks have been really difficult. There have been finger pointing and misinformation running rampant. Somehow we have got to figure out a way to come together, work together, and most importantly, fight together. We will not win the war, and let me be clear, the true war is the unequal and unfair funding
schools versus charter schools. The will is to lobby with the state to demand equal treatment of our students, equal standards, and equal accountability. I want to follow up with some of the comments from Senator Shirley Turner. As we are here tonight, and what it looks like is we are battling each other. The charter schools are driving off with our money as we're battling each other. And over these last couple of weeks, I've read many newspaper articles, and sometimes I get a little bit crazy and I begin to read some of the comment sections, which could really ruin your day because you can't really respond back and say some of the things that you want to say. But there was one article that came out, and it basically kind of said, well, shame on you, Trenton Public Schools, because you're in the position you're in, because look at your scores, look at your graduation rate. It's a fact. I think that's what it actually said. And it made a statement like, the Trenton Public Schools have like a 50% graduation rate. Check your facts. Well, I'm going to be here to be the fact checker. Many people want to compare the district's graduation rate with that of charter schools. Well, the district's graduation rate includes our valued and needed alternative school. In order to assist in the change in the economic condition of city residents, we have to assist in providing educational opportunities, and those opportunities come in the form of a high school diploma for those students and adults who are attending our alternative program. So what I did was I said, okay, you know what, let's get rid of some of the smoke. Let's see if people really have some valid reasons to think charter schools are so much better than our public schools. And that's one of the problems. When people discuss public and charter, they never want to use the same measuring stick. So let's measure apples to apples. The traditional district high schools to those charter schools. And I happen to have the 2015 four-year cohort graduation rates. I don't know if they've been made absolutely public, but I'm going to make a couple of them public tonight. The 2015 graduation rate for foundation charter school was 85%. 55 students graduated 47. 55 students graduating 47. I couldn't find the exact percentage of the number of students who actually had disabilities there, so I used the overall school rate, which was about 6%. So they're 85. Well, Trenton High West is at 84% graduation rate with 147 students. We're at about the 80% mark with 477 students in the 2015 cohort. And by the way, that includes 26% of students with disabilities. So clearly, the charter school is not outperforming the district schools. We are all in the same graduation performance category. And while when our graduation rate came out, the newspapers, along with everything else, I think they actually made a statement. Ms. Grant wanted me to put in the newspaper the Trenton High graduation rate. I think actually that's what it said. But let me be clear, the Trenton High graduation rate, not only did we meet our state target, but we also exceeded the graduation rate for several charter schools in the state, takeover districts in the state, and non-status schools around the state. And I don't want to drop names like Willingboro and Lakewood High School, but those are just to name a few. And we're not done. Clearly, the charter schools are publicly funded private schools whose foundation is based in disability and racial discrimination. When you set up a school whose community demographics clearly demonstrate the need for LEP services and students with special needs, but yet you create a program that does not service those students, that is systemic discrimination. Our battle cannot be among each other. We have to work to fight, to lobby, and to demand proper funding for our students. All night long, this has been a battle that has been going on for weeks, and what I want to somehow do, figure out, and I think you're absolutely right, everybody that was here, May 15th? May May 15th, that should be the call. Everyone that was here today, plus needs to be there, because that's really where our true fight is. Or we'll be fighting each other, the board, the community, the parents, every single year. And clearly, when we truly identify what the charter schools are doing, and we understand what the role right now of the state of New Jersey is trying to do with public education. They want to cloud a whole lot of information and make it look like that our schools are not performing, when clearly we are performing and we are doing everything that we need to do. And at Trenton High School, if we had 55 students, and we could pick and choose, we'd be able to do some great, wonderful things. But I have said all of our students, all 477 of them, the 26% with disabilities, and other students with every other issue that they may have, and we're going to make sure that they get to the graduation finish line. We have to stay founded in facts, and we have to figure out a way that we're going to work together and not battle. I think that what we've been seeing, and we have allowed ourselves to become targets in the newspaper, and we have to figure it out, whether it is get in a room, yell and scream, get it over, until we can get to a point where we all understand what we need to do as a collective mission to advocate for our students on a city, national, district, and statewide level, and that's what we need to do. Thank you. I do need to say one other thing. There have been a couple of statements that have been made about administration, and I kept changing my notes trying to figure out what was going to be said. But I want to make sure that everyone understands there's not one person that works in the Trenton Public School that does not understand the importance and the role of every single member of a school staff. From the custodial staff to our paraprofessionals, to our secretaries, to our teachers, to our administrators, to everyone who puts in and does the hard work that is needed to make our schools move. And that's what they're doing. And I think that people are forgetting that our schools are moving. And right now, the state, they are trying to put every obstacle in our way so that we don't get that achievement, we don't get that success. So they can still look at us and say, you still have not done any better. The fact that we are flat funded, imagine what we will be able to do if we got the proper funding that we need to have. Imagine what we could do for our students if we did not have to fight over the services and fight over staffing, what we could actually do for our students. Imagine if the charter schools were actually held to the same constraints that we were, but expected to have better outcomes than us. Thank you.
So good evening. I too want to thank everyone that came out tonight. And I appreciate all of the comments and the statements that were made. And I will continue to process what I hear and figure out how to come together to do better. I understand that the budget situation is hard, and I understand that it is impacting many lives. But please know, I appreciate and respect all of our staff. The expenses are up, and the revenue is down, and those are our realities. Although we are going through some very difficult times because of the budget shortfall, I still want the public to know, and I'm happy that some of the media is still here, that we are moving the district. I don't want that to be lost. HVAC Williams received the monthly award because they have increased their daily average attendance and reduced their chronic absenteeism. Our graduation rate is up. Our NJ Smart data is up. Our English language proficiency data is up. We just received our Road to Success review from the state, and 100% of our schools showed improvements in their instructional practice around student engagement, which was an area that we were measuring. So our teachers and our staff are working hard, and the results are showing so. Last week, the city sponsored a poster essay contest on how can we be a part of the solution to keep Trenton clean. And we had MLK, Columbus, Dunn, and Trenton Chambers receive some pretty nice awards. I was there, and the students were recognized for their essay writing. 50 posters were displayed, and we had over 300 entries. I want to thank, and I ask you to please visit our website, the PTO, the TEA, and many community members helped to organize this year's Trenton Youth Summit. And approximately 300 students attended this amazing event. Our Kathy Smallwood Johnson, I say our because she's done so much for our district and continues to do so, wowed the young ladies with her story. Miss Smallwood Johnson had not even finished her speaking when all of the students stood up and gave her a standing ovation. On April the 2nd, on a Saturday, our students from Martin Luther King went to the Young Audience's annual gala and performed their dance. The principal, Kim Page, and several of the staff members, along with the parents, attended the presentation, and the audience was so wowed again because of our students that were trained, prepared by our teachers and our staff, that they donated $50,000 for the Adopt a School program. I was going to mention that one of our juniors received this award and this recognition for 2% of the highest PSAT testing. But Ms. Grant has done so already. But there's more. 2 of the Trenton West students from the STEM Club have qualified for the Chemistry National Olympiad exam. And they're competing at the national level on April the 24th. We are committed to continuing to move our district and to support all of our students. We still have some work to do, but we are moving forward. So again, I thank everyone tonight for your comments, for your feedback. It is appreciated. Thank you.
Board member comments?
One thing I wanted to address or to speak to board members. I've heard, I think I was too close to the front there. To our special education students and the special advocacy group over at PJ Hill, I did have an opportunity to visit at the BOSI meeting or the board special meeting. Nicole Whitfield spoke to us about her advocacy group, about the vulnerability of those special education students, spoke to us about the parents needing those services. Our board president, Jason Redd, has said to her and to the board and to the community that Gerald Trueheart would work with Nicole Whitfield and the special advocacy group to come to a solution, because we had the program last year, why can't we have it this year? We wanted to work through the process in terms of how to maintain that very needed program in our district. I did not take that charge lightly. I took that charge to heart, and I immediately began to work with Ms. Nicole Whitfield. I immediately called her. I immediately went to PJ Hill to visit her program. I met with her husband. I met with Samantha Lamb on her staff. I met with parents, one of the parents that was here today speaking. I met the children. I saw the vulnerability of those children. And it literally did bring tears to my eyes, as Nicole spoke about in her comments. I'm heartbroken that she feels at this time that there's no trust. I'm heartbroken that she feels at this time that she has another location in Ewing. I'm proud that she has another location in Ewing, because that means that the program can continue, but it's not going to continue in our city, which I think it should be in our city. And so I would love to have Nicole Whitfield in our city. So I went there under the charge of our board president as a part of our community engagement to meet with those parents, to see those children, to meet with her staff, so I can understand firsthand what that program brings to our city and what that program means to those students, what that program means to those parents. And I brought it back to the district, to the administration, to the superintendent, to the assistant superintendent of special education, to our business administrator. And we sat and we spoke about this very issue. And they, the administration, has, and will continue to work to make sure that we service our special education needs students. We talked about continuing the advocacy program in our district, not just for one advocacy group, but for all of our advocacy groups in our district. Right here in this administration building, we talked about how to support the after-school program for our special education severe students in our district. We had a meeting scheduled with Nicole tomorrow. Is it Wednesday? Okay. We tried to meet with Nicole last week, and I wish Nicole was here. I don't see her in the audience. I wish Samantha Lamb was here. I wish those parents were here that I met over at PJ Hill. I wish those students were here that had the gracious opportunity to meet at PJ Hill so they could hear from the board what we're doing and how we're standing up for them. We're not taking this very lightly. I immediately went to charge. I immediately went to administration. As soon as I found out about the program, I got a brochure, found out all the services he's providing. I understand that the proposal that was submitted and approved by the board last year clearly outlines that it was a special needs community resource group or resource center. This was approved last year by our board for her to continue in that program through June 30th of this year. I do also receive a proposal that outlines her program. And this proposal includes after-school programs in our district. And under Superintendent Duran, we honored that in our district. And we still want to honor that program in our district. We are working tirelessly right now to find space for that program. And I'm prayerful and hopeful that when I call Nicole tonight, that we can continue to work with her to make our special education program the best it can be in the state and the best in the city to service our special education students in our district. So yes, I have worked, and I will continue to work with the Special Education Advocacy Group, with our special education population in our district, our severe population in our district, our most vulnerable students in our district. I spoke to Nicole Whitfield, and I asked her a few questions about our program, so I could have a clear understanding of what our program is all about. I asked her, how many students do you service? She services over 30 students. I said, how many parents have you assisted this year? She said, over about 100 students. I asked her 100 parents, about 30 students. She currently has about 10 advocacy cases that she's servicing right now to make sure that our special education kids receive the services that they need. I asked her about the number of currently enrolled students in our program. There are 18 currently enrolled students in our program. So I'm in the community. I went to the program. I've asked her the good questions. I've asked her about our program so we can understand as a board. So I'm speaking to the board members to let them know that under the direction of our board president to go into research and to find out about that program and to find out about how we can keep that program in our district, how we can support that advocacy group and many other advocacy groups in our district, not just one, but more than one, all the ones that we have in our district. That I've met that charge and done that job. I've given you the evidence, that I've looked at the program, that I've researched, that I've spent time with Nicole and Samantha and her husband, who jointly run that program. That I've met with those parents and met with those students and had an opportunity to see firsthand and feel the vulnerability of those students. And all those brought me to tears.
Why did you get an eviction notice?
Thank you. And here's the analysis. Is that we are working very hard to make sure that program stays in our city. Despite the comments, we will make sure. Well, I have a phone call to her tonight to see if we can't change that around. She has another location, bless her heart, and I really think that she will continue to do a great job, not just for students of Trenton, but for students of Mercer County.
Excuse me. I think everybody here was polite when everybody else spoke, so I think we can get
That's the general concept of their rudeness. But that's okay. I can take it. I love you too, Janice Williams. The other question that came up, even today, and I'm going to take my time because I've sat here and listened to everyone, and I think it's important that our board know, as board members, our commitment, all of our commitment to looking at all the information that we have before us and working to make the right decisions. The Stokes School closing. I would like the superintendent, if she would, in terms of superintendent Ferrier, just speak to the Stokes School closing and why Stokes School was closed, if you could.
Well, first of all, I just want to clarify that the Early Childhood Center is a program. So the school, it's not a school that's closing, it's a program that's being relocated. Excuse me? So we have struggled, and it was mentioned tonight, with enrollment and with attendance at the school. I have spoken to parents because I actually had a parent meeting at the Stokes last week. We did have about 30 or so parents. We also have been registering parents since we announced that we were going to be relocating the students. So we have been in contact with parents so the parents know what the options are, and we will continue to do that. But one of the things that the parents have said to me through the multiple times that I've had conversations with them. And I was happy that I could speak to both parents, both the English-speaking parents and the Spanish-speaking parents throughout all the conversations I've had, is that it is sometimes very hard to take one student to one school and then another student to another school. Because I was trying to get to the root cause of why we had a 50% attendance rate at the Stokes Learning Center. So there were multiple reasons. We've had pre-K 5 in our district before. It's a different model, and we are going to try that model again. We will revisit the model as we continue to try to make sure that the maximum number of pre-K students have access, of that age group has access to that building. There was a mention tonight that we plan to rent the building to a charter school. That is not accurate. There is no intention of renting the building to a charter school. However, through a bid process, we have engaged community organizations that will, they have submitted proposals, and we are reviewing the proposals regarding what they would offer. I can say that one of the proposals actually will include some pre-K or baby school. I call it the baby university, because we are also looking to increase the students or the babies that are ages 0 to 1 in our programming. So the one organization that we are reviewing will offer day services as well as evening services to our students and our families. So those are things that we are engaging in conversations to ensure that our community is receiving the maximum services, not less services.
Thank you, Superintendent Ferry. The next thing I want to just briefly speak on is this budget. But before I speak on the budget, I want to go back and talk about special education, comments that were made to us as board members and to me in particular, specifically about children or my child being in the district. Many of you may not know, but my son, Gary Francis, was diagnosed multiply disabled. So they didn't get that information. They don't know that. They don't know anything about him because they didn't know him. I did. I raised him. He went to Alfred Reed School. He was a City of Trenton resident along with me and my wife, and we raised him. But unfortunately, in 2001, the Lord took him home at the age of 15. So I know firsthand about special education and caring for a special needs student. So when parents come and they communicate, when OT, PT, and speech teachers, professionals come and speak, I know it. I know what you're talking about. I know firsthand what's required for a special needs student. My son was a special needs student at Alfred Reed School. My son was multiply disabled. He didn't have one disability, he had multiple disabilities. And unfortunately, because of his heart condition, he could not get enough blood circulation to his brain in order for him to pick up all of the things from an educational standpoint that he needed. And so he was classified as multiply disabled. He was in a special contained classroom with about 5 or 6 other students. And I worked collaboratively with that teacher at Alfred Reed. I worked collaboratively with other parents who also had multiply disabled students or children in that classroom. We worked hard to make sure that our children receive the best services possible. So I know firsthand what it's like to be a special education parent. And I want to make that clear tonight because that that is not one of the things that was brought forth in comment with the research that was done. And I want to make sure that the public, that the board, that our members on this board recognize that I understand about what it takes to be about special education, what it means to be a parent, that now I translate to my role as a board member. So I don't take lightly decisions that have been made to cut OTPT. I do not make in other speech and other services of special education, child study teams, I do not take these cuts lightly. I do not make these decisions in a vacuum, as some may think or assume. And I hope that has been made clear tonight. Tammy Strickland, I coached her oldest son in football when he was 5 years old for 5 years. I understand the pain that she's going through. I know her personally. Jocelyn, who's a paraprofessional. I know Jocelyn personally. I know the pain that she's feeling, losing her job as a paraprofessional. I'm in the community. I know these people. I know Fred Herndon from the NAACP and Corinne Grooms. I was a gentleman in the second class in 1984 that she runs that program, which is going to happen in the month of June. The first Sunday in June, we're going to have gentlemen graduate from schools around this county. I was one of those, the second class. So I've been involved in the community. I understand what the NAACP is speaking of and what they're fighting for. We're all fighting for the same thing. But comments and things that have been made is as if we're your enemy. We are not your enemy. We are far from the enemy. We are not fighting against you. We are not fighting against the system. We are not fighting against our students. We want to collaborate and embrace our students. Have we made mistakes? Do I think we've made some mistakes in terms of collaboration? Yes. Our area dirty laundry? Yes. We've got great things happening in our district, as Superintendent Ferry has stated, as Hope has stated, and I'm hoping that others will come and speak about the positive things happening in the district. And I will get to the budget in a second. Positive things that are happening in our district. There's a lot of positive things happening in our district that we're not talking about in these board meetings, that the paper can't print. Because all he hears, all David Foster hears is negative, 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 negative. And it's not the point that we should not talk about these things, because it's important, because we're losing we're losing some teachers, we're losing almost all of our paraprofessionals and almost all of our secretaries with these budget cuts and others. But we need to share with David Foster, the Trenton Tony. David, print the good stuff, man. Don't print all the negative stuff. Print the positive things in our district. Print our graduation rate, it's real. Print our bilingual program increases, it's real. Talk to our superintendent about all the positive things that we're doing in the district. And yes, sometimes we do. And sometimes we want to make sure that we air the dirty laundry and look at the things that we have that we need to improve on. We have things we get to improve on in our district. But the superintendent and Hope and others, the Hope will come. We are moving our district in the right direction. Also, in terms of community engagement, we've asked the PTA president on that committee to come to our committee, our community engagement committee. He was one of our first community members to come and speak to the committee about what the district can do better from a parent-teacher perspective. And we had the minutes to prove it. He gave us several things that we needed to do. And I don't think this board is taking those things very lightly. The next group that came was Mark Roach, one of the faith-based organizations in our district, along with one of the faith-based organizations that is working with our students and parents and teachers and administrators over at Grant School. If you can hear the passion in her voice, if you could hear the passion about how the students are being impacted, about how the parents are being impacted, about how she's working collaboratively with the administration, board members, you would be proud of us. Not us as a board, but us as a family, us as a community. We're a part of this community. We live in this community. I've been living in this community for 25 years. I own property in this community. I pay taxes in this community. I'm not driving in from Philadelphia or anywhere else. I'm right here in this city. Live here. Hear the gunshots. Hear the sirens going by my house once every other day. I understand what we're dealing with. But one of the things I also wanted to share that came up is regarding this budget. If you had a pie, my wife had a birthday celebration on Sunday. I gave her a surprise birthday party, and she was so happy about that. Her birthday is actually on Tuesday. Why do I miss my wife's birthday? We had a pie, we had a cake, ice cream cake there. I don't know if you might like pumpkin pie or apple pie. I'm not sure what kind of pie you like. I'm sure some people like pie in here. Maybe cake, nice cake from Italian People's Bakery or somewhere. And here's the thing. That pie, if it had 100 pieces, and it had to go around, and that's all you had, that's all the resources that you have is that pie. And that pie had 100 pieces of pie to that pie. This is how it will be allocated in our budget. Tuition. Our fund balance, not our fund balance, our general fund, our general operating fund, not including any grants, is $409,046. Of that amount, this is the slices of million. This is the slices of pie that come out of that budget. Off the top, before you even get into the stuff that we're talking about cutting. Tuition, $33,378,855. That's 13 pieces of that pie already going off the top. I want you to understand that in real terms. Because when I saw that pie at my wife's celebration, I thought about Trenton, I thought about our budget. So yes, we go home and think about these things. We don't just come here and just look at stuff and not take it home. It hits me in my heart, the things that we have to make decisions on. Plant operations, $22,129,869. That's 9 pieces of pie off the top. We have to take care of our plants for safety and security. We have to take care of our plants. Operations, that's our buildings, our buildings that we have. Benefits to our employees, off the top, $23,840,923. That's 9 more pieces of pie that we have to take off the top. And this is not even touching students, other than tuition. Direct to students, I'm talking about direct service to students. Tuition is direct service to students, but benefits is for employees. Doesn't have no impact on the students. That's 9 more pieces of pie of the 100 off the top that we have to allocate in our budget. So this process is not easy. Charter schools, $37,570,805. That's 15 pieces of that pie, and we start with 100 pieces. That's 15 just going to charter schools. 15 pieces of that pie is going to charter schools. Off the top, before we even get to the nits and grits of what we need to do in our district, that's going out the door. And maybe more as these charter schools increase their enrollment. For our schools, which get the bulk through our SLTs and through our principals, this is money not staying here in central office, going direct in Fund 15, which is a separate funding in our budget, to schools. $80,658,495. That's 31 slices of pie of that 100 that's going into our schools. So we talk about education, we talk about administration, curriculum development, instruction, business office, payroll, all the things here in administration, in the administration building. Information technology, even student transportation services, health services, for our nurses, which are one in every school, and the supervisor here doing a great job. Our attendance and social work. Only yet, this is after everything has been allocated that has to be allocated to tuition. You have to do this. Tuition, you gotta pay tuition out to the IEPs, their tuition to different schools. 13 pieces of pie for 33 million, 33.3 million. Plan operations, 22.1 million, that's 9 pieces of pie. Benefits, 23.8 million, that's 9 more pieces of pie. Charters, 37.5 million, 15 pieces of pie. Into our schools, which need the most money, we should be directing those dollars to our students, $80.6 million, or 31 pieces of pie for 77 pieces of pie before we even get to administration, before we even get to the services that are being come out of this building. Superintendent on down. 23 slices of pie is what's left to be allocated to all those resources that we need. And that includes bilingual education. It includes special education, our regular programs, our before and after school programs, other instruction, bilingual, I said it already, attendance and social work, health services, speech, OT, PT related services, extraordinary services, guidance, child study team, improvement of instruction and services, staff training services, support services, general administration, school administration, central services, information technology, student transportation, all that, with 23 pieces of pie that's left in that 100, if you start with 100. So these decisions are not taken lightly. I've got $1 up in front of me, $1 bill. How many times can this dollar be cut up? If I give this dollar to Janice Williams, she's gonna have to give it to somebody else. Because she only spent it once. But if she wants to give $1, so she had to come out of her pocket to give $1. Not her own dollar. Oh, okay, Janice. But the point I'm making here is that we've got $1 to spend one time.
So we don't get money for 5 days.
$1 to spend one time. And I talked about how that money is actually spent in the budget. It's unfortunate that we get hecklers in the audience. We listen to you and respect you. It's unfortunate that you don't respect us. It really is unfortunate, because that's not what we should be teaching our children as role models for our kids. If a child is here and heard someone speaking, and if we hear hecklers in the audience, they're going to think that that's the right thing to do. We know that's not right. It's wrong. It's just wrong. It's just plain wrong. It's not mature. As a mature adult, as we come of age, we respect one another, we listen to one another, and we respect for one another. Well, I got mine. I'm okay, Janice. I'm good. I'm good. Others that spoke in Mr. Lee Ingram. I talk to Lee Ingram almost all the time. Reverend Justice. I talk to Reverend Justice once or twice in every other 6 months or so. So I think it's just important that we recognize and understand the overall picture of this budget. That it's not an easy process to go through. We talked about 77 pieces of pie off the top before we even get to central administration. We did do a cost analysis that was requested by our union partners. They didn't show up. No, of all the unions, only 2 did not show up. The other ones were there. One had an excuse because they were out or had an issue with the family member. But all the other unions, I'm not mentioning who they were. I didn't say who. But all the unions did not show up to the table.
Tell the reason why. Tell the reason why. Tell them why. We will not go. Tell them why.
Here is, we actually did the analysis.
Tell the whole story, because you stepped around.
Here's the analysis. We were asked to look at outsourcing analysis to reinstate 9 speech therapist positions and reduce all TAU hires with exceptions of special education and bilingual teachers. Dave, see what I can deal with Dave. Dave is responsible. Here is what it is.
You need to tell him to leave that alone. You're supposed to be making money and representing this board.
The cost analysis was done, and we were not able to meet those recommendations based on that analysis that was done. There was other requests that were done taken, but all in all, we could not find the $5.7 million needed for salaries for paras. Even after all of that work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was only trying to help.
We also had some comments from members of the community last board meeting regarding our special education Medicaid initiative, or our SEMI, or our MAC claiming. And tonight I requested an analysis, received an analysis of our semi-special education program. Many of our OT, PT, and speech teachers, even last board meeting, came at the board of special meeting talking about how our semi money is being used and spent in our district, and why that money cannot be spent on teachers to keep OT, PT, speech, and all those related services that were cut in our budget. I just received this analysis. I will be reviewing this analysis and speaking with the superintendent, with our board president, with the rest of the board and the committee to come back with this overall analysis. This got it, so we need to review it first. But we do have an analysis that was done. And the questions that are being asked is, what is Medicaid reimbursement? That's the first question. One of the other questions is, how much do we actually collect in Medicaid reimbursement? And number 3 are 3 basic questions. How is the funding used, or what does the money pay for? So these are the 3 questions that I'm going to be asking after I review this analysis and take a look at it, and be able to communicate with other board members about this concern or this question that was brought up by our community about semi-Medicaid reimbursement and how it's used, how it's collected, and how much we actually collect. I think it's also important, another question that came up in our community was our IDA fund, why that money can't be used. But that money is earmarked to district tuition, all of it. All $3.5 million of it is going to tuition, our IDA. Individual Disability Education Act, Part B. Money cannot be used, or it's not, in this case, not used for teachers. It's used to send our students out of district based on IEPs, which we have to follow. So those are some of the questions that came up in our recent board meetings that I wanted to just let you know that we are not, as a board, just hearing you and not doing anything about it. We are researching and looking at this, and you will see more involvement in the community. Definitely, I will definitely be involved, board members definitely will be more involved in the community, going out to programs like Nicole Whitfield's program, inviting, we have a whole slate of community organizations that are going to come to our committee meetings and share with us the challenges they have for the district, as well as the positive things that our community-based organizations are doing in our district. First one was PTO President Mike Goodman. The second one was Mark Roach. We have many more to come. Each month we have a different group coming to share with us how we can be more effective, be more efficient, how we can help through our partnerships in the community, drive back academic success in the classroom with our parents, our teachers, and our other administrators. We only get so much revenue. I'm not sure what, we've had so many meetings. We've had meetings about budget for the last 3 weeks. Maybe 1 or twice a week. Trying to figure out, trying to find a way to make this work. The only way we can make this work is to get more revenue. That's not going to happen right now. We're not going to get more revenue. We only have so much revenue. $298+ million. That's all we have. And you heard the analysis I just gave you about the pods. If you want it, I can give it to you. But there's not a lot of choices that we have about where to get the money from or where to take the money from. It's a revenue problem, not an appropriation problem. It's a revenue problem. And I will be here on May 15th, standing with you at the State House to fight for our district, to fight for our unions, to fight for our teachers, our parents, and you know what, most importantly, to fight for our students. That's where the rubber meets the road, to fight for our students. We are in the fight. I'm in the fight, I know the rest of my board colleagues are in the fight. We do not take this role lightly. Even though we get comments that we do not. Yes, we've been silent. Because typically we don't really are supposed to respond to comments from the community. I didn't say we can't. I said we typically do not because of that issue you raised earlier. That I'll close my comments, my board comments, by letting you know, my board members know that we work collaboratively together. We're looking forward to working more collaboratively with you. We had some stumbling blocks along the way. Yes, we have. We did have. We have to do a better job of communicating with our community partners, with our unions, with everyone involved in the overall process, whether it be the budget or other areas, whether it be superintendent search, whatever it might be. We need to be more involved and inclusive of you guys, who are our community partners, who live, work, raise your children, feed your families, and enjoy life here in the city. We do not take this lightly. These are some tough cuts, some tough decisions that had to be made. Thank you.
I will be brief. I just wanted to give an update about the superintendent search. We have reinitiated the RFP for search firms, and those should go out here pretty soon, and we will have hopefully a number of search firms to choose from in order to get the best superintendent that this district needs. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'll also keep it very short. I just wanted to thank everybody who came out to speak tonight, and I know it's hard for us to hear it all up here, but it's also difficult for you all to sit through a long evening, and we really do appreciate all your public input, and we are listening very closely to everything that you're saying, and I just want to thank everybody who came out and people who came out with their kids, parents. It's wonderful to see everybody, however negative the comments might be. And the other thing that I just wanted to echo my fellow board members' comments, that nobody up here liked the budget cuts. We, as you do, think they're dreadful and would rather not be making them, obviously. If I thought the right solution was to vote against the budget, I would do it, and I don't think that's the responsible thing to do. And I think that we need to have a balanced budget. That being said, I believe strongly, as I think many of my board members do, and as I know many of you do, that the real advocacy is at the state level to get increased resources, and that includes documenting what the needs are and documenting the consequences of not having those resources, and I think that's also very important, and we'll continue to fight for those larger resources that are owed at the state level as well. So, thank you.
And I would just like to add to that, our voting against the budget would not serve the purpose that we need. It would be counterproductive. So, and you can just imagine what that means. It wouldn't give us more resources.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming tonight. I think that it's obvious from the comments from the board, I think from the board members that are here tonight, that we listen to everything that you say. We read everything that you say in terms of the emails that we receive in the inbox. We listen to the phone calls that we receive from you and your members. We do. I think that, like you, there's not one of us up here who does not approach every decision and with the interest of the students in mind. We do. We're not a corporation. There are no profits here. There are no profits. There's no reserve fund that the business administrator has. We do our best. We do our best to identify solutions and work there. Sometimes, as Mr. Trueheart said, did we get it wrong? Sure. I think sometimes we say that we could do things better, and I think we learn from that. But I think as we approach this budget process, I think this isn't an easy process. There's bad solutions and worse solutions and even worse solutions. It's a terrible process. You know the story, how it works, increased costs coupled with declining student enrollment. We have a budget deficit. To address the deficit, we made cuts in central office. I think that if you look in terms of central office, when I think Mr. Trueheart, Jane and I are the longest serving board members. When we got here, the central office is much smaller than it's ever been, and I think we continue to look for cuts there as well. Additionally, and I think that this is something that we don't get credit for, but I think that this district has worked along with this administration to have, for the first time in over 20 years, the city's increasing their payment to the district. They maxed it out. They maxed it out. So I think, you know what, if you want to take credit just for you guys, you can take credit just for yourselves, but I think it's a collective. We were respective of your members. We were respective of everything that everybody said here. And so we'd appreciate the same thing here. We worked with the mayor and the council came up to the table and they maxed it out. It's not enough, but it's erasing the multiple years where there were no increased payments from the city. Also, I think that people forget our advocacy with Senator Turner regarding the way that charter schools are funding and the charter school bills. So the big thing here is in terms of we're at a loss in terms of a charter school comes in and tells Jane, hey, we have 30 more kids. Figure out where the payments come from. So we try to budget, we try to do our best to budget, but that doesn't anticipate the realities that come from school choice and the realities that come from charter education. And in order for districts to budget accordingly, that way has to change. The other thing that is important to notice is that this isn't a district that's just an urban district issue. I think if you look in terms of the advocacy, this is you have districts like Chesterfield, Delray, and Red Bank, all fighting for funding adequacy. If you look at the numbers that are regarding the adequacy, you see that the city of Trenton is 9% under adequacy, which translates to roughly about $19 million. So I think in terms of our conversations with our legislators, we have those conversations. We have those conversations regarding charter funding, and we have those conversations regarding increased funding. But everybody knows the realities regarding the State House of who controls the budget. The other thing too is in terms of seeking out increased funding, seeking out increased resources. If you look on the agenda tonight, we have a grant on here. I think we're aggressively pursuing other ways to save money within the budget. We have people that are reaching out saying, hey, you can save money with this, and I'm sure Ms. Howard doesn't appreciate it, but I'll forward it over and say, meet with these folks, see if what they're offering translates to real dollars, real figures. The one thing that I'm gonna sit here and say, and it's something that says this board has not engaged folks, regarding the budget, and that's just not true. It's not true. I think the SLTs have been engaged. I think the other thing too is that leadership of all the bargaining units are in here. And I say, you know what, don't believe the board here. I say, you ask Ms. Howard in terms of record keeping, you ask the superintendent, you ask all the union representatives whether they have been assembled to talk about the budget going back to October. That's something that's been in the media that says that there wasn't engagement, and there just was. There was. I think because it was a directive of this board. It was a directive of this board, and it occurred under, and you don't believe me, believe the meeting notices and believe the text messages that are out there. There's proof that extends beyond word of mouth. So I think that, while we might not like the outcome from the budget, don't say that there wasn't a seat at the table. I won't go into my pie analogy, because I think Mr. Trueheart did it in a much better fashion, but I think that the truth is out there and it's real. So I think that we have folks that come here and say, make a better choice, don't make these decisions. So it's like, okay, so what's next? So it's, sell off properties to charter schools? No, you guys would hate that. So do we take and let go of another unit over another? Where are the good decisions here? Everybody turns to the board and says, hey, we need you to make this decision because it's wrong, but they don't provide another decision. When we ask people to sit down in a room and sit collaboratively, people, oh, I've got to have 5 people in there. We want to just have the folks in the room that are union leadership that represent your interests and have a discussion. Have everything out on the table, take it back to you, and have real conversations. That's all we're asking for. It's a tough slog for anything. It's tough to get through this budget. There's no good options, but I think to sit here and say, well, you obviously hate kids, or you don't believe in the best interest of the kids. Do you really think that folks would be sitting up here if they didn't care about the kids in this district? Well, then you're just as ignorant as your comments are. I think I think that it does not make sense. It does not make sense that people would sit up here. It does not make sense for people to sit up here and take the abuse. This is not an ideal situation.
As a taxpayer in the city of Trenton, my entire life, you need to go.
You can leave the room.
You
can leave the room. As board president, I want to finish my remarks. We were respectful to you, and we were respectful to you, and we will finish our comments. We'll be respectful to you. The last thing I want to address is the attacks on individuals on this board for their service. I know that everybody in here serves sincerely and wants to do the best job they can. And so to have personal attacks on individuals here, these people choose to serve, and they choose to make the decision to come here, and they want to make the best decision, and they want to work with you. They respect the work that you do within the district. They respect the work that you do with the kids. They understand that as a district, we all move forward together. We can't move forward without you, and recognize your value. So I know that Mr. Trueheart said that he'll be there on May 15th. I'll be there on May 15th as well. I think all the board members will be there because that's where it's a revenue issue. Nobody wants to make these choices, and so we're going to continue to do our best job here and do our best to support our students, and hopefully, the budget process shakes out and Senator Turner is able to provide the support that she said that she sought for the government.
Where they go get the money for private exactly?
Any discussion on
the
budget? Will that be released? We can look at it?
Right.
Discussion on the consent agenda?
Right.
So, we don't answer questions, but we'll be sure to talk to you after the board meeting. I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Roll call.
They don't answer questions.
D.A. Graham.
Yes.
Fia Guston absent. Denise Millington absent. Jane Rosenbaum. Guillermo Gomez.
Yes.
Joe Trueheart.
Yes.
Lucy Vandenberg.
Yes.
Jason Redd. Motion passed.
Motion to adjourn to exec session.
Motion. So moved.
Second. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act codified at NJSA 10:4-6 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Trenton Board of Education is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, as follows: any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiations to which the board is or may become a party in any matter failing falling within the client privilege to the extent that confidentiality is required to preserve the attorney-client relationship and allow the attorney to exercise their ethical duties. Contract agreement with TACSTA, proposed on the agreement with NS, OBO, SW, legal invoice, and joint client, and boys basketball coach, search for contract type. Personnel matters related to the employment, termination, employment terms, and conditions of employment, evaluation, discipline, any specified public officer, employee terms, public values, all individuals who could adversely affect the office, and writing matters. Tenure charges for SM. Now therefore be resolved, the Trenton Board of Education Commissioners and New Jersey, that an executive session be held on April 20, 2016 for the statutory purposes indicated by resolution. Be further resolved, the action may be taken by virtue of the by the result of this executive session, subject matter shall be disclosed to the public at a later date to the extent the statute is same topic.
Voice vote, all in favor, so I think aye.